You're live.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, my goodness, lots of people in here. Let me get some hellos. Well, Rain Country was the first to show up, and then Mr. Rain. Well, I guess Heidi was the first to show up, and then Mr. Rain right behind. Good evening to both of you, my friends. Let me see. We got Terminator and Eagle Lover and Hacks. Hacks made it early. Cool. Jules, thank you very much. Pack Rat, good evening. Silver Lining, good evening. Gypsy, good evening. I'm trying to blow through these here. Scenes Girl, good evening. LJC, my friend, how are you?
My friend.
Drummondson Live, good evening. Towards Joy and Freedom, hello, hello. Deborah Calvert, hello. Yep, right on time.
Always.
Always, right? So what do you guys talk about tonight? Because I got all kinds of stuff. But I'm trying to figure out how to say it.
Oh no.
Oh no, yeah, I know, right?
Well, we got some drainage things going on.
Yep. We had drainage problems.
We had drainage problems, so now we have
Problem.
Rain.
Mhm.
Rain comes in, and I don't want it to.
Yeah. So my house sits down about 4 feet from the top of a hill. And when the rain comes, it comes down that hill, and it just rushes right to the front of my door in the front of my house. And I put a 6-inch drain pipe in when I built it, but it just simply does not keep up.
Well, a lot of times it's not a big deal, but we just got 3 inches in 45 minutes.
Yeah. So in the big storm,
And that was a big deal.
Yeah, in the big storms, it's a mess. So we're excavating out the whole front. We're going to put in a 12-inch drain pipe and a couple retaining walls, and so that project got started a little bit today. I know you're super excited.
Is underway.
Yeah.
Yes. Because this was not originally where we were going to build the house. So we did now we're playing catch up.
Yep. Hippocrates Garden says blueberry muffins.
Mm.
Yep. And we did say rain. Florida Mama Bear, hello, good evening. Bird's Eye View, hello. Long time no talk. Glenn, good evening.
Dig a moat.
Yeah, dig a moat. Yep.
That's kind of what we've got going on right now, because there's like a trench along the front.
Yep. The Treasured Home, good evening. Tag and B to all. Good evening to you as well. Yep. Dana Green, good evening to you. Yep. Try to make sure I get everybody in here.
And then we got some rock up on Pod 4.
Yeah. So all of the rock on Pod 4. So we rocked halfway up all the way around Pod 4. That got finished today.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool, right?
Yep. Cleaning up the garden, getting ready for stuff to plant, getting ready for some mulch to be laid, because we got some mulch.
Yeah, I know, guys. It was no wind and 70 today. It was a beautiful day. Yeah.
Yeah.
RN, good evening to you.
And I found a few cedar trees, about 50 cedar trees I'm transplanted.
Did you get them all transplanted?
There's about 10 left in the back of the Polaris. I'll do that tomorrow.
The Treasured Home says, B, I enjoyed the love yesterday. You ought to have more lives with just you and the women. That was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Treasured Home said, I want to talk about this a little bit tonight. And I thought it was neat the girls got together too. But I think that there's, oh man, this is just such dangerous ground for me. But I think there's something that kind of got missed in all of it. And not missed, that's not fair. Because I think you guys touched on it some. But anyway, I'll get to that. But Gin Botho, hey, how's it going? Yep. All right, so what else you got going on? Where do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Hey, ACM Homestead's here. Hey, good evening. Milk and Honey, good evening to you too. Hey, I don't know if I ever talked to you guys about the COVID doses, but I found some math pretty interesting. And I don't think we've ever covered this on a live, so I thought I would cover it with you in case I hadn't. But so according to the CDC, there's been depending on what you listen to, somewhere between 8 billion and 10 billion doses that have been administered in the 36 months since all of this has gone on. And so I thought I would take that 36 months and the lowest number, the 8 billion doses. And I thought that I would go through the math, and I find it fascinating. You ever have things that just make you go,
Yeah.
So this is one of them. So if you take 8 billion doses by 36 months, that means you got to have 22 million doses a month, right? Is what they would have to create. Million. 22 million doses every single month. Okay. So if you break that down further, that requires 7.4 million doses every single day. Okay. Or 308,000 doses every hour, or 5,144 doses every second. Now, let's say that there's 5 companies producing vaccines. Okay. Is that fair?
Okay.
Okay. That still means that they have to be producing off the production line 1,028 doses every single second. Right? Each company would have to be doing that for 36 straight months. Now, I know a little bit about manufacturing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me go,
So what do you think? What is the What is the cat? What do you think?
I don't see how there's any way that
they're keeping up?
that 5 separate companies could produce 1,000 doses per second, each one of them, and keep up. I don't see how they could produce. I mean, if you shrink that and you say there's 4, right? Depending on which one you go by, I just don't see how they get there. That's a lot. I mean, think about it. 1,000. There's 1,000 more doses. 1,000. There's 1,000 more doses. 24 hours a day. 7 days a week.
Well, they have machines. 36.
I know, but that's a lot.
Of this. And there's probably, multiple handles at a time. It's not just one dose. But 1,000. Never turning the machines off for 36 straight months.
Seems like a lot to me. I don't know. Maybe, maybe I just see it wrong. I don't know, but Catherine Sword says the hummingbirds are back in spring. Yeah, I heard some birds chirping out there today. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Treasure Home, that is a lot. Lucky y'all, a little over 50 here with wind and rain, says Skane's girl, and more coming. But I did get a lot done in the house. Good for you.
She's had a lot of rain.
Yeah, Heidi says, but hey, have totally normalized dropping dead for no reason at any age. Right. Right. I don't know. I just thought I found that math interesting. When I was reading it and it said 8 billion doses, I thought I'm just going to do the math.
Yeah.
Because I'm a dork that way.
Yes.
Terminator says Tag and B got my t-shirt.
Look at that fire.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Wish I could move my camera over there. It's a long ways away, guys. It's clear. It's a long ways away. Anyway, Tag and B, I got my t-shirt and apron yesterday, and the one from Grumpy Acres, and I love them, says Terminator.
Wonderful.
Yep. Wonder if they already had the doses prepared before the pandemic. Things that make you say,
There you go.
Hey, the greatest name on the internet, Half Bubble Off Plum. Good evening to you. Yep. You knew exactly who I was talking about, didn't you? Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, it's totally normal to just fall over dead after getting shots. Yeah, I agree. Rain and cold here in Louisiana. Man, it was so beautiful here today. Died suddenly isn't as concerning as it once was. Apparently, I am sure they did have them all ready to roll out with something. It just sure seems to me like that's a lot. A lot. To be producing. Yeah, that's a big old fire, isn't it? I would guess that's 2 miles from us. You can just see that. We can see the smoke clouds up in there.
Yeah, big smoke.
Possibly new tag video series, things that make you go,
God, there you go. Yeah, thanks, blockchain.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. There's a lot of them that make me go, what? Come on.
And then there can be like things that make you go, other things.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So there could be a and a.
Yeah. Let me see here. That's to them. Milk and Honey. Yay, we don't owe on taxes this year. Never have, but was worried. Yeah, good for you. I owe every year. Yeah, Hippocrates says more worried about being offended than dying. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this a little bit tonight. I just got to figure out how to say it. But it's true.
Ouch.
Let me see here. Okay, they're just saying hi to each other. All right, what's your next topic?
Helped a friend get a phone claim.
Oh yeah,
that took 2 hours.
Yeah, to talk about that deal, that was a mess.
They have Verizon, and they had this I don't know, if you break your warranty, if you break your phone, you pay a deductible, and we'll get you a replacement phone. Well, this particular phone was a $230 deductible. So he broke his phone.
This is an old man, guys, who we help out.
He broke his phone, and then he got a replacement, and then he broke his phone, and they didn't have a replacement. He's been without a phone for 4 months because they don't have the comparable phone.
Yeah, there's one more to that story. So he was over here 2 months ago, and we filed a claim. And
no, it was in January. January 2nd.
okay, January 2nd, even worse. So then he files a claim because he broke his phone.
Mhm.
And they said, okay, we don't have any right here with us, but we'll get one out to you.
Out of stock.
Yep. So now fast forward all the way to today. He still doesn't have his phone.
Oh, but he was in luck. They did have one in stock.
Yeah, today they did. Today they had one in stock, but it was going to take another $230 deductible, right?
Yes.
What a
And
scam.
so his original receipt, he bought the phone in May of 2022.
Mm.
And he's broken it twice. And has been without a phone for 4 months.
Blockchain says, was that through Assurian phone?
Yes.
Yes, it was. What a crock of shit.
And it took 2 hours to get them to get it all done.
Yep. Potpourri for Life. Good evening. Starla Dope. Good evening. Yeah, I think that nobody buy phone insurance to those people. I mean, what an absolute scam.
Yeah.
I mean, he ended up paying $500 out of his pocket. Anyway.
Yes. Plus, he pays for that insurance every month.
Right. Yeah.
And the phone was $1,000.
Yeah. It's what a crock. Been down that road with Verizon and dropped the insurance. It's nothing but a scam. You can't break my phone. He might need one like mine. Yeah.
What kind is it?
What kind is it, big kid?
We're looking to buy him one, like, not part of a plan.
Yep. Blockchain says, yeah, ridiculous. I've steered many away.
Never insure a phone. It's a scam.
Yeah. Drummondson Live, never insure a phone. It's a scam.
Yeah, they got him.
Yeah. And this is an old guy, guys. I mean, he non-techie, old.
Yeah, fixed income. But
fixed income.
Here, let me charge you $150 a month for a cell phone that he doesn't use. He doesn't text. He doesn't use the internet on it. He doesn't use, any kind of GPS or anything on it. He makes phone calls.
Yeah. Crazy.
What else? I got chicks. I have a borrowed chicken tractor
from Indiana.
So yeah, I am putting some little babes in there, and they're loving it. It's worked out really well. I like the chicken tractor. Is it a chicken tractor? Is that?
Yeah, it's a chicken tractor. You're not using it as a chicken tractor. You're just using it as a place to turn baby chicks out during the day.
Yeah, I collect them and bring them back in at night.
Heidi wants to know, is there any insurance that is not a scam?
Oh.
I think that depends on which side of that you're on. I think that, that early in my career, I got lucky and I got to deliver $1 million death benefit to a lady who her husband was killed in a tractor accident. And they were going to lose their farm. It had been in the family, 100 years. And so, I mean, I think in that case, it worked out real good. But I think generally, obviously, there's a reason why it's the most profitable industry in the world. And there's a reason why all the big skyscrapers and all the big cities are insurance companies. I'm happy that is working out for you, says Birdseye. Let me see here. I have a phone.
Oh, yeah. The chicken tractor.
Yeah, they work out great. We're just leaving it stationary. And because the birds come in at night, but then because they're still pretty little, but then she takes them out and you should see them. They take off running and trying to fly and, just being kids.
Wild animals.
Yeah. The Treasured Home says, I have a phone that I got from Dollar General. I refill it every month for just $29 a month. And the phone only cost me $60. The phone just fine for me. Yeah.
Yep.
Tag, I figured out what was causing my connectivity issues for the past year. It's Verizon controlling it. As soon as I started looking into a new service, poof, things suddenly started working. Yeah, my Verizon, I have Verizon too, and I want to get rid of it. I get, 1 bar at my house when I used to get 4. Same place, same location. We chose, hey Zeus, how are you? Says, we chose cheap phones. The insurance was more expensive than the monthly payment to pay out the phone. 6 months or so of insurance payments would have paid the phone off.
Yep.
Yeah, what B and I do is we go, like she buys them kind of, I don't want to say bulk, but kind of ahead of the game. And so she'll find some models that are, 2 models old that we can buy for $200 or $300 on the internet. And she'll order a couple of them. And then when we need to replace them, we just replace them out. But I never sign a contract. I never do any of those kind of things. Potpourri says, I have Total Wireless, which is now Verizon Wireless. I lucked out, got a phone for $35. The plan is $60 for 2 phones.
Wow, for 2 phones.
Yep. Jules says she's moving to Patriot Mobile.
I've never heard of that.
Yep, I have. I'd be interested, but
out here.
Yeah, but I need to figure out, whether or not it'll work out here. which would be pretty interesting.
What do you got?
Oh, I got so much stuff.
Oh, let's
So
hear
I
your
got-
so much
yeah,
stuff.
I got a question for you guys, and think about this question because it's a trick question.
Oh,
Yeah, not really a trick question, but there's more to the story. So I've got a buddy of mine who I've been friends with for a long, long time. I'm not going to mention who he is, but when I met him 12 or 15 years ago, he had put a email out at one of the, like prepper type groups. And he put out a message kind of in desperation a little bit saying, look, I just moved to Kansas City. I don't know anybody, this is the lifestyle I live. Is there anybody out there? And so another buddy of mine contacted him and he ends up coming over to the house, a month later or whatever.
and this was a long time ago?
Long time ago.
Okay.
Yep. And so anyway, he shows up at my house and with him, he brought a 5-gallon bucket, a Ruger 1022 and a backpack. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
You were there. That's all he had. That was what the total of his preps looked like. Was a Ruger 1022, a 5-gallon bucket, and a backpack. And so I'm curious to ask you guys about this. And again, important question, because again, it's kind of a setup for another question. But do you guys suppose that if I would have reacted to him and said, man, that shit, you're going to die, you're never going to make it, would that have pulled him closer to the movement or pushed him further away? Right? What would that have done to him had I reacted to him like, man, you're out of your league or
well, there's like people like that now that go, oh my gosh, where do I get food? Where do I get food? Where do I get food? And some people go, oh, you're too late.
Mm-hmm. There's another great example, right? This is what I got.
If you haven't started, you're too late. You might as well just give up.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, oh, geez.
Right. Right. It would have pushed him away, right?
Uh-huh.
And what would it have done to him as far as his opinion of people who exist in this movement?
Yes. Movement.
Right. Versus the other side, which is what, we would typically do to say, hey, man, rock on. Good job doing something. Let's talk more. How do we get better? Right. Because there's a lot of ways you can handle that. Right. So the reason why I ask this question is that how in the world do we in this community hope to reach people if we're critical of them? How do we hope to bring up the bottom? How do we hope to be a mentor? How do we hope to do these things if what we are is critical and condescending, right? And if we say things like, oh, too late, how do we hope to do that? Mr. Rain says, depends on the person. He might look at it as being arrogant or scared him into action.
Yeah, I guess it does depend on the person because.
I'm going to pin this one. Milk and Honey, I'm going to pin your comment because this is actually what I'm getting to.
It goes
it goes on the top.
Of things.
Okay. I'm going to get to that. Yep. There are very few that talking that way would help. Most people learn from seeing and positive side it works. Yep. You see, it will last. I've had mine. Oh, nope. Sorry. Well, son, you've got the spirit. Right, Pack Rat. You're 100% correct. Faith, hello. Good evening. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Give the right person a bucket of 1022 and a brick and they can conquer a whole lot. See, this is kind of what I'm talking about right here is that I think you can address that a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah.
And you can say, hey, good job, or you can say you suck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so.
Are you saying this because of the lady that came to me and said she needs rice?
No.
Is that where this is coming from?
No.
Okay.
But this is actually this is actually a great topic. Tell that story real quick because this is going to lead into my story.
I had a lady come up to me and she said, she was kind of like, and I was like, what's the matter? And she said, I guess I'm going to town to get rice. And I said, rice? What are you talking about? What's going on? What's the significance of rice? And she said that her husband, they had been watching something, I don't know what, on TV or YouTube, I don't know what. And she said they'd been watching something and her husband is afraid how he's going to pay the mortgage and pay the monthly bills, what they're going to do with their money, how they're going to do, how they're going to do this because of the money that's going on. And that she's going to stock up on rice. She said, I guess I'm going to get rice. And I said, just rice? I mean, like, what is your plan? Are you're just going to go get some rice? What's, some beans too, or some salt or what? And she's like, she goes, salt. No, what do I need salt? And I'm like, oh, okay, we need to talk. And she goes, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I feel like I need to go get something. And I said, okay, let's talk. So
yeah, they're going to come over and we're going to have a conversation.
I thought that's what you were. That's
well,
what you
I think this is important because they could come over and I could say to them,
what are you, stupid?
Well, or even the other side, I could say, oh my God, it's falling apart. You don't have any time. Go max out your credit cards, right? I mean, I could totally hammer them.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, I could congratulate them for being awake.
Right.
Hey, good job. This is the first step, and everybody gets here. This is where you are in your journey. Right. I applaud you. Congratulations to you.
Yeah.
Right. I can go down either one of those roads I want. But I think this leads to a lot of other things. I'm going to get to some comments really quick. Big Kid said that he posted the phone up above. And thank you, Big Kid. Now, very few people are really prepared for if they had to flee their homes and hide in the forest and live out there. That takes more than food and supplies. It takes mental preparedness and a whole lot of other things, right? Lots of skills. Yep. I know another YouTube personality, says Pack Rat, who would kick them while they were down. I don't appreciate it. Yeah, I don't either. Anyone who had to survive, says Heidi, alone in the wilderness would be happy to have a gun, a bucket if there was nothing else. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Nicole's here. Hey, Nicole from Living Free in Tennessee. How are you? LJC says he was miles ahead of most people back then, and even now, because at least he was thinking about prepping. Well, yeah, guys, let me tell you real quick the outcome of this. He's one of the most prepared people I know now. Now, 15 years later, right? Totally. I mean, he's doing great, growing his own food, raising his own animals, but that's just where he was in his journey. And so for me to kick him in the beginning like that, right, would have had catastrophic impact on him. For sure. And then furthermore, I would have missed out on a beautiful relationship that I've now had for 15 years.
Yeah.
Right. And someone who I've done a lot of stuff with. And I think it's just a complete shame. Maybe say, hey, look like you could have something you can barter with. Let me tell you about it. Yeah. See, just something encouraging, right? Oh man, I'm so. A
lot of times it's just they just don't know. Just like this lady, they just don't know where to go. Like, what do I do? What do I do first? Where do I start?
Drummond's Live says, I see YouTube channels that say things like you're just getting started preparing, you're late, and you need to at least half acre per family member to survive, and it pisses me off. Yeah, me too. Faith says there's enough channels that scare the crap out of people and make good money doing it. Yeah, not me. I lived in terror of cramps for 35 years due to low sodium, which was hundreds of doctors missed. Oh, interesting.
Wow. Low sodium? Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miley says some people just need some direction. Amen.
Yeah.
You'll catch more flies with honey, says RN. You don't ask a crawling baby why they aren't running marathons. Everyone, this is great, right? Everyone is at a different place and has to build on what they know. If they refuse to try walking, that's another story, though. Some people just don't understand why it's important to be a prepper. I can grow a bunch of food in 16 square feet. Yep. I try to encourage people to do what they can, no matter how small, and not compare themselves to those who are further along in the journey, because we all had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep. So can you guys, now that we've got this all built up and everybody agrees that going at it with a hammer, right, is probably not the best solution in most cases. That sometimes the scalpel is much more effective. Sometimes being encouraging is much more effective, right? So I would also argue that this mentality, which is what we're taught in, the media and, places like that, help create this divide. We're taught to be judgmental.
Yeah.
Right?
Or to be quick on tongue. Quick with your tongue, right. Your words,
Right. So my question is, how else do they divide us? And guys, I have an end to all this. I'm getting to a point, but I think it's important to go through all of this.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways they divide us, right? Adroit Homestead, good evening to you.
Good to see you again.
Yep. Long time no see, right? Yep. The journey of all things is at different levels for all of us. Yep. Yeah. So, what I find interesting about that is, we talk about the divide, and, they divide us between political parties.
Yeah.
Right. And they get us, being short with each other. right? If you don't think the way I do, or if I'm not up to speed, or I don't have as nice a house, they split us economically,
Yeah.
right? Because your house is nicer than mine, so I should be jealous. So they split us on race.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I've told a lot of people I live in the middle of red country, right? I am completely surrounded with rednecks, and I don't know a single racist until you turn the TV on. Right? Seriously, so you turn the TV on, there's all kinds of racism, and oh my God, and it's just, it's more divide and more divide and more divide. But one other way that they divide us is men versus women, right? And B and them were talking about what makes a strong woman on a live last night, and I couldn't help think to myself that way back in the day when they began to push the wife in this particular case out of the home, then you think that they did it because let's
free the woman,
right? But in the end, when it's all said and done, it tore down the woman and it tore down the man.
Yeah,
right.
Nuclear family.
Yeah, it just tore both sides down. But what they managed to do is get 100% growth on the revenue because of taxes.
I know.
Right, more taxes, more taxes, more taxes, and so we keep falling for these things over and over and over again. And whether it's in the prepping movement between one person or another, whether it's in the man versus woman thing,
yeah,
and in the end, we should not be worshiping our government, right? And when the whole women's lib movement and all of those kind of things, really all you did is just pick up a new master.
Right.
You picked up a master of the career, you picked up a master of the federal government, you picked up these masters. You didn't really gain anything. Religion. Here's another good one. And this is actually Living Free in Tennessee. Thank you for bringing that up, because this is actually the point I was getting at. Was this right here. We talked.
What did she say? Oh, splits religion.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot tonight about how that guy that showed up with the bucket, if I would have talked down to him, if I would have went at him with a sledgehammer, I would have turned him off.
Yes.
Why is religion any different? Why is it that Christians have the need, and I'm going to piss off Christians here and non-believers here by the time I'm done, but why do Christians feel the need to swing a Bible and a torch and say, if you don't believe and if you don't do this, you're going to hell, you're going to die, you're going to all this? Why do we go at that any different than what we went at the guy with the prepper with the bucket and the 1022? Instead of saying you're wrong, instead of saying this is the only way, say, hey, listen, I'm interested in your point of view. Let's talk about it. Have you considered this? Why is it that we feel the need to put the hammer down? Because it's religion versus something else? I think it's an absolute shame. And I'm going to tell you something, if someone came at me from the let's just pick on the Muslim world. If someone came to me from the Muslim world talking about, infidels and talking about this and that and hammering on it, I would run right away. I would give them no attention. Right. But if they came at me and said, hey, you interested in having an open conversation? Sure. What do you got?
Yeah.
And so I think it's absolutely hypocritical of I don't really want to say Christian, maybe that's not the right word, the organized religion side, because in my opinion, and again, I'm totally going to piss some people off, but in my opinion, Jesus back in the day, and I have studied the Bible. If you guys don't know this, I struggle with my own faith, but I have studied it. And to me, it seems like what Jesus did is he didn't really hang out in the church. Don't seem like to me that he hung out in the organized religion. It seems like to me he hung out with all of the rejects. He hung out with the unworthy, right? He hung out with them, preaching his word. He didn't do the status quo thing. And I think it's absolutely crazy that what we do is scream that from the pulpit, or this is the only way it is, and all you're doing is turning people off. We have a whole generation of young people that at some point in time, we're going to have to pass this entire movement on to, who are being turned off because we don't know how to communicate. I think it's just an absolute shame. I can't even tell you
that.
Just an absolute shame. And yeah, I am kind of talking about the strong women thing from last night. Because guys, I'm going to tell you something. At the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, I welcome my Muslim brothers. I welcome my Hindu brothers. I welcome my Buddhist brothers. I welcome my atheist brothers and sisters. I welcome them. And we're going to sit down and we're going to have a conversation. And I'm going to do everything I can to make them better. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to bark at them. What I'm not going to do, I'm not going to pick on them. What I'm not going to do, I'm not going to make fun of them. And I'm not going to make them feel less worthy. No. Anyway, what do you think of my rant?
It was a rant. But no, I mean, I remember, my mom would always wanting to talk preachy to you, and you didn't want to, You didn't want to partake in that either. She
Nope.
she is, yeah.
Yeah, guys, here's the thing about, and we'll talk about Bee's mom real quick. So she is, in my opinion, and I don't mean any of this mean, okay, but she's not a very good role model. Would you agree or disagree? Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay, so
we have struggled.
Do you care if I share?
With
Because I'm going to share about my mom too.
With what part?
That's the best thing you'll ever have.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
That's
So your mom was married how many times?
11.
Okay, so Bethany's mom was married 11 times. And through the course of her being married those 11 times, every time a new guy would come into Bethany's life, her mom would say things like, "This is the closest thing you're ever going to have to a father.
He's the best thing you'll ever have to a father."
Yep.
Yes.
He's the best thing. He's the best thing. The whole time preaching from the pulpit, saying, "I am Christian and I'm doing God's work." And it's complete hypocrite. She put her needs in front of the needs of her kids, period. It was a scam, period. And right? I mean,
right.
It just
well,
is.
And so, like, one of the things I had read, one of the comments from the video last night with Yoda and Shelly was her, I think it was her father, her grandfather basically was a bad guy, and then she had to, like, be her own strong person and raise her daughter. And you know who I'm talking about? The comment. Okay. So, well, I read her comment and remembered when we were talking last night about I think it was Faith had brought up a question about, can you be strong without having religion? I think it was something like that. And then I read this lady's comment about having been in a relationship where she had a man in her life who was not very good to her, and she had to be strong and be her own savior in her life. And so I remember thinking, like, in my past, my grandfather was abusive to us granddaughters, and I believe only the granddaughters that I know of. And he took us to church. He took us to church beforehand, right? And brought us home and abused us. Like, he was a Christian. He was a Christian, on Wednesdays when we would go to Bible study, and then at, Sunday school, and then the potlucks, and then the church service, and then all of these things. And he was a horrible person. And so anyway, thinking back to what Faith had said and about last night, and then about what the comment on the video from this morning that I had read, I don't remember when it was posted, but I think that being a strong person, being a strong woman, looks different to all of us, right? I mean, none of us have the same story. And my mom, as bad of an example as she was to me, she did better for her life than what her mother did for her. And so I think that every one of us has our own path, our own life, and only us that we have to be accountable to, right? Am I going on? And
yeah,
on?
No,
Sorry.
but here's the other side. So the duality of humans, her mom also did some amazing things.
Sure.
Her mom worked 2 and 3 jobs the entire time Bee was growing up to make sure her daughters had the things that they needed.
Yeah.
She sacrificed the things that she wanted in life, well, except for men. Right.
Yeah. Well, in between each of those men, it was, just us again, and then a man, and then just us again. And so
instead of just celebrating the negative impact that she was on your life, there was also so much positive, right, that came in there too. It's not so simple as to say there's just this right way, and everybody's at a different place.
No, right.
Yeah.
And we all falter.
Faith says, which is what I was trying to get to last night. Yeah, I know. And actually, Faith, I thought about you all day today. I was out working in the shop and I was thinking about this conversation about strong women. And it really just kind of irritated me, lack of a better word. Like I pondered on it a lot. You know, my mom was exactly the same as Bee's mom, just totally different. My mom's a bad alcoholic and is to this very day. And she preached the whole time as we were hungry that, you know, God was going to save us. And listen, you Christians, hang with me because I'm about to get to the other side, right, of this argument as well. And I'm not bashing on Christians. What I'm saying is that everybody is at a different place in their journey. And how dare you, and I'm not talking to you, anybody particular, right? But how dare anybody
Any of us
throw those, you know, stones? I mean, I don't get it. All you're doing is turning them off. That's all you're doing. You're not accomplishing any goal. You know, maybe you go back home feeling all proud that you took a stand, but at the end of the day, you absolutely made no ground. And I think it's just insanity, and we're killing ourselves. We've got all of these reasons to be divided, and yet right now we need to stand together more than ever.
Because we're all different.
Yeah.
We all have different views. We all have different thoughts. We all have different ideas, and none of them look the same.
Yeah.
But if we have any kind of common ground, right? We want the betterness
Mm-hmm.
of our future for our children, our planet, our
Now,
humans.
Yeah, guys, I'm not saying not to believe in Christ. That's not what I'm saying at all.
No.
What I'm saying is you got to be smart. You just got to be smart, right? And there's all kinds of people searching for what the truth is. And if what we do is go at them with the Bible and the torch, beating them over the head with it, you're going to lose them.
Yeah. You can't be a Christian.
Right.
You're not going to church.
You know, Bee's mom, and I told you guys this before, but you know, Bee's mom, when I first met Bee, she wanted to talk to me about, you know, me being a Christian and wanted to talk about my faith. And as you guys know, I struggle with my faith and I'm very forward about it. Bee's pretty good with hers. I'm horrible at it. And so I don't talk about it a lot because I don't feel like I can articulate it in a manner that is educated and smart, because I'm totally lost on the subject about where, you know, kind of where I stand on it. But so anyway, her mom would always say, what are you? And you need to work on this, and you need to do this, and you do this. So I got to a point where I would just say, I'm Jedi. And man, it irritates her. She'll come over for Thanksgiving, or she'll come over for whatever, and she'll start in on me. And it's so crazy because I'm not anti any of that stuff. I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want
especially
someone who's not a Christian, who's not living the Christian way, to tell me to be a Christian. I just don't want to hear it.
You're drunk.
Yeah. I mean, it just irritates me, you know, to the core of who I am, that of all of the places, the church, or, you know, that faith, who should be tolerant and accepting, are the biggest hypocrites. You know, not everybody, right? But a huge section. I mean, it's just this huge hypocrites. So now that I've said that, I'm gonna get to a couple comments, and I want to argue the other side real quick because I think it's equally important. Mr. Rain says, "He that is without sin cast the first stone." Amen.
Right.
Yeah, people learn through trial and error. That is also true for faith, philosophy, and everything else. Yeah, Nicole, thank you. God does not ask us to be the judge. That is his job. That is said so well. Potpourri, thank you. Our job is to serve with love. We are not perfect, but those who strive hopefully grow genuine love. This may not go over very well, but it's hard not to judge sometimes, especially from past experience. Well, of course it's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it, Android. We have to hold ourselves to another standard. Guys, we need each other more than ever. We have more things that unite us than what divide us, and yet what we constantly do is pick on the little things that divide us.
Find that item and pick at it.
Right? It is insane. We have to stand together, and if what we're going to do is get in an argument whether the Baptists or the Catholics are right, we're doomed. We're doomed. Right? If we're going to get in an argument whether rice is a better thing to put up or beans are a better thing to put up, we're doomed. We have got to stand together, and to listen to anybody, you know, tear somebody down because they don't believe the same as them, I think is just tragic. Teamwork makes the dream work, says Teresa. I agree with that. Those who say don't know, those who know don't say something, you know them by their actions. Her witness is wasted on you. I'm not sure what that means. Her witness is wasted on you. Let me see where we at here. Many of the most evangelical blank are trying to convert you, but convince themselves. There's some very clear teaching, Jonathan says, about throwing stones. But on the other hand, part of real love is looking out for the best of people and not confirming straight to hell. Hey, Jonathan, I wanted to talk to you about something, by the way. So we were I agree with you 100%. We were on the Zoom call last night, and there were some topics that had come up. And I watched you pleasantly and say, hey, what about this? Just how you should do it. And so, Jonathan, I wanted to compliment you. We were talking about God, and I thought you handled that. Hey, did you look at it like this? Or this is what it says perfectly well. You didn't, talk down to anybody. You didn't any of that. And I just thought it was absolutely amazing. I saw a new Christian destroy a really good rental business with his faith. You see, we care about your eternal life. And it's a command that we should preach the gospel of Christ. If we didn't care, we wouldn't do this. And yes, some people do it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. I have no problem at all with someone saying, in fact, I urge it. If someone wants to sit down and have a God conversation with me, and you're willing to talk to me with respect and listen to what I have to say, and I do the same for you, I think we're going to get along fine.
Right. It's one thing to preach the gospel. It's one thing to, in a drunken stupor, tell somebody they're going to hell because they're not fill in the blank.
Yeah, Heidi says, well, we are called to judge, but not in where we are in our walk and personal relationships with the Lord. There is a difference between God and bad judgment, and Scripture is clear on this. Yep. Sherry says, be kind and love each other. Amen. Guys, I'm telling you, there's more that unites us than what divides us. There absolutely is. Prep for the Eternal Homestead said, Christ said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. He did not say, I am the Baptist, I'm the Methodist, etc. I agree. But I do believe he is the only way to truth and life. So let's talk about this real quick. Prep for the Eternal Homestead. I have no argument with what you said. I'm happy for you that you believe that is the only way. No problem. And I think that there's most people, especially in our country, I don't say most, a huge percentage of people would agree with that. But there's some that would not. And so should we tell them they're wrong, or should we help nurture them? Because we get to choose how we react to that situation.
You should be like, no, you're wrong. You're going to hell.
Right. I think we're just, hurting it. Catherine Sword, I get it. It's kind of the way it is around here. I wonder what they're talking about. I'm trying to follow along, but I'm not following. Thanks for this conversation. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, Android, I appreciate it too. I thought all day long about how am I going to have this conversation. I think it's so important to talk about how we can be united and we don't have to be divided, even on things so important as faith. And some people are good at it and some people aren't good at it, but how do we help each other grow? I would love to be a great Christian, guys. I would love to. I just struggle. And B's good at it. She don't struggle. I do. But does that mean that someone should come to me and say, look, here's the deal, dude. You struggled long enough. It's time to shit or get off the pot. And if you don't, you're going to hell. That will turn me off so fast. Dude, I would literally roll my eyes and walk away. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
Let me see. Steel Ross, good evening to you. Too busy doing my best to prepare the homestead for my family. I don't care to waste time sticking my nose in other people's spiritual choices.
Yeah.
Yep. Melody says, when I started, the first thing I did was buy rice, my gateway drug. Yeah. Treasure Homes, I get it, Tag. I so do understand. Walk the talk. Yep. As far as I'm concerned, Christ is a state of consciousness that returned in 2011. The time is now to gain the Christ consciousness, which basically means learning to be kind to each other. So Daryl, here's the thing is that I try to live my life in a great way. I try to help everybody around me. I try to give of myself. I try to be true to myself, even if it means I get taken advantage of. I try to live that life. There's some faith things that I struggle with, but I'm working on it. I'm not hiding from it. I don't run away from it. I was listening earlier today to some prayers on YouTube that were super powerful, but I feel like if I didn't say I struggled, that I'd be a liar. I just do,
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to proclaim to be something that I am not.
To go to church every week
No.
and Sunday school and Bible study and men's group.
Yep. Ghetto, good evening, bud. Religion is man-made. Christianity is God-made. Good evening, Mr. Tag and Mrs. B. And putting others ahead of yourself if the situation calls for it. I actually think that strength is service. B said this last night, and I totally believe it. I think it's very easy to think of yourself first. And I don't think it takes any strength to do that.
Yeah. Me.
Right. I think what takes strength is to be able to put others in front.
Yeah.
And put someone else's needs in front of your own. That's strength. You know, the mom who eats less at night because, you know, they struggle to pay the bills.
Or eats the
heel because they want the daughter to have the best part or whatever it is. That is strength.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope I didn't miss a whole bunch here. Let me see here. Live by example. Could not agree more, Joseph. Oh, wait. Sorry, guys. I must have missed some here. There might be a bag of rice somewhere in the holler. Yeah, no doubt, huh?
Somewhere.
Yeah, we bought a lot of rice in the beginning, too.
One bag.
Potpourri of Life says, our example is how we share the truth of our faith. Example, if I claim to be a Christian yet don't know Christ's love, how can one truly share so others understand? When I would take that a step further, I think if you struggle with your faith, share it. I mean, because, you know, I've had some other people who have gotten to me and made me really chew on it, not by saying I'm this perfect Christian, but by saying, look, but I struggle too. And here's the reasons why I struggle. But this is what I found that made my struggle a little bit easier. See, that's the way to approach it, right?
Yeah.
Judge not, but do form opinions. Unity is the key to freedom. I agree with that, Daryl. And I think, again, there's so much more that you know, brings us together that will tear us apart if we'll just stop buying into the bullshit, you know, and stop playing that, you know, those games. Catherine says, what I meant was when you share your spiritual walk, it's hard for you to be heard with a bottle of liquor in your hand. Your witness will not be accepted. Oh, great point.
Right.
Yep. Because I think that's the thing, man, is that because of the way I was raised in Christianity and the way that B was raised, you know, you look, and maybe it's us as a skeptic and it's something that we have to grow through, but I instantly look for that. If you start preaching to me, but yet you're hypocritical, we're in trouble, right? I'm going to ignore you.
You're better at that.
Yeah. I'm just going to walk away. Next. And I ain't going to give you no more of my attention, no more of my energy. I'm not investing in you. I'm done. Right then. Right. So why can't people just play nice? Well, Steve, I don't know why people can't play nice, which was kind of the whole topic, the main topic of this live tonight, which is how do we as a community put our differences aside and celebrate the things that bring us together?
Yeah, I think somebody had said it earlier. I don't know if they mean to do it, but maybe it's the message that comes off so harsh, you know. You know, they're doing it out of love, right? I don't want you to go to hell. I want you to go to heaven. You're doing it wrong. Don't be a sinner. Do it my way. Go to church. Read the Bible.
Treasured Home, this is going to be a great segue. It says the one thing about you, Tag, is you are upfront and honest. And that is what I like about you. You are not like most people. You are willing to listen to Christians' views. I want to be a great Christian.
Oh, man. He had long conversations with his brother-in-law about Judaism.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I want to be. I just have so many questions and so many things that steer me up. But here's the other side of this argument. You know, I've been harsh on Christians tonight a little bit. But let's talk about the other side real quick. Why is it that an atheist or whoever, a non-believer or a believer in something else, why do they have to ridicule the other side? Why do we have to say you're wrong? Why do we have to say that?
You mean they're doing it to each other?
That's what I'm saying.
No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong.
Right.
Taoism's right. No, it's not. Christianity's right.
Right. I mean, I think that in the end, the true God will reign, right? I mean, if your argument is sound, it will be supported. And I think instead of creating this divide from a non-believer to say, hey, you're wrong, quit preaching to me, or whatever it is, maybe the way they approach it could be done different too.
Well, sure.
You know, and together we can get, you know, because I'm not bashing Christianity. I'm not bashing anything tonight. Right. What I'm saying is we got to quit dividing ourselves. This is insanity to me. Treasured Home, thank you for the comment. Potpourri Tag, regardless of how long we have been Christian, we still struggle. It is what keeps us humble. Amen. See, I would rather a Christian come to me and go, look, I am not a great Christian, but I know God and I know this, and this is what he's done for me. And I screw up, and this is how I screw up. And this is how I get myself back on track. Like, to me, that would hold so much more weight than the Bible and the torch.
Yeah.
To me personally, you know, he who claims to be without sin is a liar and the truth is not in him. Amen.
Right.
Hey, Cul-de-sac, how are you? Ooh, I just probably missed a whole bunch here. Let me see here. Jen says, I'm curious what a great Christian means to you. I think we all struggle. Yeah, what a great point. Again, what a great point, because I think everybody's flawed and everybody makes mistakes. But I think to the point that was made earlier, and I don't remember who made it, but you know, swinging in my mom's particular case, right? Drinking a bottle of whiskey, telling me God was going to save me is not being a good Christian, right? I mean, you got to at least try to live it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna falter probably, right?
Yeah.
None of us are perfect, but you got to believe your own bullshit. You know, if all it is just to make you look good. I don't know.
I think some of them really do believe. I think, you know, I don't have enough money to pay my electric bill. Oh, there's a doorbell ringer outside of Target. I must give them my money.
Mhm.
I don't have enough money to pay my electric bill, but I must give to the red doorbell ringer. And you're like,
I had
gosh, if you can't even pay for your own electricity bill, why are you giving money away?
I have a really good friend of mine who, and I still consider him a good friend, who's an actuary. And when at my old company that I, got kicked out of over the COVID thing, he ran the other side of the company. So I ran one side, he ran the other. I ran revenue, he ran operations. And he, on several occasions, said, "Hey, why don't you go have lunch with me?" And brought his preacher with him. And we talked about God, and we talked about spirituality, and we talked about those kind of things, a few times and all of this. And then, when all of the shit hit the fan over COVID and all of those kinds of things, he was nowhere to be found. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and so to me, it's like, when you ask him behind the scenes, he's like, "Yeah, this is bullshit, blah, 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 blah," but did nothing. So you ask me what you ask me what a great Christian means to me. I think it's someone who will take a stand on it. And I think it's someone who will say, win, lose, or draw, my faith is more important to me than anything.
Deny me 3 times.
I'm not perfect, but what a great question again. And I think I'm going to pin that one to the top, because I think
Can you pin more than one, or does the other one get unpinned?
Yeah, it gets unpinned, but I already talked about that one. But I mean, it's hard. That's a hard question for me, Skanes Girl says, God has done some of his greatest work through the lowest of society. I only answer to God for my actions. I cannot see into the heart of someone else and know where they are in their walk. Right. But we can encourage them, right? Michael says, remember the great commandment. I'm assuming, Michael, what he's talking about is do unto others. Is that the commandment? Or he's even wondering if he's talking about one of the actual, I don't know. Interesting. I'd be curious. I think the way that someone comports themselves allows the person who is atheist or who believes differently to treat them with respect. When I think that at the end of the day, that's really all I'm saying. Oh man, there we go. Is how come we can't just treat each other with respect? Because I'm telling you guys, and I've offered this many times. If there's someone out there listening today that is super liberal and wants to argue those points, or not argue, wants to discuss those points, I'll do it. Let's do a show.
Yeah.
If you promise to respect me and listen to what I have to say, I will respect you and I will listen to what you have to say. And we will have a discussion. And in the end, we'll probably just agree to disagree. And it's okay. We can still be friends. Right? I mean, it's not a big deal. I don't have to call people names. Let me see. Prep for the Eternal Homestead said, the Apostle Paul reasoned the scriptures. That's a good way reasoning together to a conclusion. The best Bible verse is Philippians 1:21. For me to live as Christ and to die is gain. What to say? It's not all the same. God's known in different interpretations. Yeah, I think telling somebody whoever they believe or whatever their God is or whatever that is, whatever their spirituality is, or is wrong, is completely the wrong way to go at it. God did not put any of us flawed human beings in charge. He himself has the first and last word. Faith says, I have some amazing friends who are atheists, and some of my other amazing close friends are really great Christian theologians. I've had the best conversations with all of them without anger. This is what I'm talking about, Faith. Faith, you and I would get along just fine. Absolutely fine. All have fallen short of the glory of God and continue to, right? Sherry says, God looks at your heart and he looks at us through Jesus. Tag, he sees your heart and loves you a bunch. Sherry, thank you for saying that. I struggle with that part too, being worthy and I'm not a great Christian but I try to live my life well and I try to be good to people. But, Every Christian that I know really, really well, on the top of the list, my mom and her mom, tells me that's not enough, and then I'm going to hell because although I may be a good person and although I may do the right thing, I don't worship the way they worship.
You
or I
haven't
don't take
accepted Jesus
communion.
Christ as your personal
Right, whatever
savior.
it is, whatever the thing is, Let me see here. There was an old time saying, says Miley, talk the talk and walk the walk. Yeah, and I'm not going to talk the talk if I can't walk the walk, which is why I don't typically talk much about my faith. Just found out my husband tithing to his church, yet we have a mortgage and debt, but he is blessing us. Very frustrated not being a partner. Yeah. Yeah, I think this actually brings up another really good point here. I think God helps them who help themselves, because I can tell you my mom prayed every single day that God was going to save us, and he never did. And so, I'm not blaming God for this, because I wouldn't have saved us either, right? I mean, we were doing nothing to earn the saving, right? But I think you got to stand up and live a good life and do for yourself if you expect any of those, kinds of blessings to come your way.
Well, you can't just sit on the couch and expect blessings to,
Oh, that's a good.
fill your fridge.
Oh, I missed it. I want to go back. Catherine Sword had a great comment. A Christian has convictions over preferences. Yeah. Abba Anthony also said, I saw the devil's snares set all over the earth, and I groaned and said, what can pass through them? I heard the voice saying, humility. Love your neighbor. Amen. Tag, just start in Luke and read Acts. He will fill in the rest. I don't, actually, we have, I'm not going to say who sent it, but I've got a Bible somebody sent me that's kind of written in a different kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been interesting. I read through some of it, and it's kind of puts it, I want to say how would I explain that?
It's an easier read, I think.
Yeah, maybe easier read. Thank you. One more rock says, I don't know any liberals. I do. And, what kind of got me on this tonight too, is I had a conversation with a guy about youth and bringing youth into the movement, which I'd like to talk a little bit more about. But Jesus lived in a humble, loving life of prayer, service, healing, and encouragement. I believe if we can try to live as much that way, then we are blessed. No greater love than hath than he who lay his life down. What's that one, babe?
Galatians
5:14. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor and thyself. Yep. So are we loving our neighbor when we're attacking them because they don't believe as we do? I don't believe in religion. It's flawed. I have a relationship with Jesus. End of story. I try to do what his word says. There we go. But I am the last person on earth to have the right to condemn anyone. My kind of Christian.
you skipped it.
Oh, did I? Babe, it's hard to keep up with all of them. They just come so fast. Guys, if I miss somebody, I'm sorry.
Go back up.
I'm just going to start right there. Great command. Love God, love your neighbor. Yep. Deborah says, I don't judge you or your beliefs, for that is not my job. My job is to be kind and to help where I can and love all. It's hard, but I try to do this every day. You and I would get along perfectly fine. Porterhouse says, can't we just all get along? Rodney King. Right. Right. Why do we have to have differences? Why do we allow them to continue to separate us? It just makes no sense to me. Like absolutely no sense. Someone had made the comment earlier about they don't compete with anybody.
Yeah.
And, I preach this in the community all the time about I'm racing myself all the time. I'm not racing Grumpy, right? I'm not racing Spags. I'm not racing any of these people. I'm not racing Indiana Mike. I'm not any of those things. I'm racing me. And I'm just trying to be better at what I do every single day instead of creating this weird divide thing and jealousy and all of these silly things, Alan Chase says, good afternoon. Just got home from the ER. Welcome, Alan. Good to hear from you, bud.
Hope you're okay.
Let me see here. Sometimes laying his life down for his neighbor doesn't mean physically dying. Sometimes it's purposefully allowing yourself to be inconvenienced because they have a need. Amen. But isn't that strength, Hippocrates? See, I would argue allowing yourself to be inconvenienced because your brother, your fellow man has a need is strength. That is actually what strength is. It isn't charging the front of the hill and saying, me. I'm going to, reach the highest, level I can at my company. I'm going to, do whatever that it isn't that in the end, it's just service, I personally believe it all stems around respect. If we can't respect others, if we can't respect others, we can't truly respect ourselves. I agree with all that. 100%. Hey, Tabletop, good evening. Tag, we are all racing the day. Yep, shit hit the fan, trying to be ready. Well, and that's where the attention should be.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's exactly where the attention should be is, okay, what do we do next? And how do we get better, and how do we get better together? Right. Because the fact of the matter is I could perfectly get better together with a Muslim. I could perfectly get better together with a woman. Right. I do it with you every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I could perfectly get together with, someone who makes a lot more money than I do, or someone who makes a lot less money than I do. We need to stop allowing people to divide us. Sadly, I took my mother's death to wake up from religion. So refreshing, feels so free to be who I am, made to be by our Creator. I think that's said well too. All right, I'll get off my rant. What else you got?
Wrong page. Oh, wrong page again. I was flipping all over the place.
It only took me a year to get her to make a page, so I'm stoked. High five.
You're looking, I'm even talking, buddy. Oh, we get to see the grandbaby tomorrow.
Oh, we do. We get to see the grandbaby tomorrow. That's a big deal. I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Got new tires on my vehicle.
Yep. Man, tires have gotten expensive. Anybody put tires on lately? Man. Ugh.
Yeah. That's about it.
Miley says, I see growing. I see growing going on here. Well, I hope so. I hope none of us are done growing, Miley. I hope. Right? Tabletop says, veggies are rocking, cleaning as we listen. So one side of the coin is prepping for shit hit the fan. The other side is for eternity. If both, you're never there, but always seeking to be as prepared as possible, if any moment. Yeah, I would also add one other thing there, Hippocrates, which is preparing for a great retirement and living your days happy, and creating a life you don't need a vacation from, and not spending all of your time, being caught up in all of it.
Yeah.
Treasure Home says, thanks for sharing your heart with us, Tag. Well, of course, you guys, and I hope you guys know I have no ill will towards Christianity, towards Muslims, towards anybody. I just think that we have got to stop being divided. We got to be better. We got to hold ourselves to a higher standard if we're ever going to make a run. That's what I think. Did the duck eggs hatch, says Tambra.
Duck eggs have not yet hatched.
Monday, right?
See Monday.
I think they're supposed to be here on Monday.
The eggs are supposed to be here on Monday.
Yeah. Let me see here. B, I work at the ER, says Alan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Did I miss anybody up there?
Glad you're okay then.
Yep.
Did you get this? Did you get the seeds?
Yeah. Poontang says, yep, just did tires on our Toyota truck, $1,400 for 4. Yeah, that's what we just did. Yeah. How old is the grandbaby and the name? So she would be
2 months old.
2 months old now, and it's my first grandbaby, and so I'm like just ecstatic. And I go over there pretty regularly because I've been helping my son remodel his house, and so I get to hold the baby and all of that. And I'm still just a pooping person, don't do a lot, but I'm starting to get some smiles out of it, and those kind of things. But anyway, her name is Nova, and so baby Nova is going to be great buddies with Grandpa Tag. I can assure you of this, and I promise I will send her home in a taxation is theft onesie. I will send her home in a Freeman shirt. I will absolutely do that because that is my job. Faith says, I have probably about 15,000 miles left on my tires, and I'm thinking about buying them now when I find a sale and getting someone to put them on later. That's actually not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Jules says, don't remind me about the price of tires. I was going to try to get a full set for preps. Then someone blew a tire and put the spare on without saying anything. Yeah, tires, ugh. I am missing hanging out with my grands right now. Didn't feel well enough to go to their Good Friday services with them tonight as planned. Makes me sad. Oh, you'll see them though.
Hope you feel better.
So you haven't put the duck eggs in the incubator?
Yeah, they're in the incubator.
They're supposed to hatch Monday.
Yeah, 28 days.
Yeah, Monday's the 28th day. Need to plant more big, tall trees for a windbreak. I plan to order 500 trees from the Arkansas Conservation. Right now, I have to plan out the area.
Go, Mandy.
Yeah.
Go, Mandy. Go, Mandy.
Yeah, Mandy, our first year here, B decided she was going to order 800 cedar trees from the Missouri Conservation
I
Department.
think 100 of them were cherries.
Yeah, maybe, whatever. But anyway, so she got them 4 days before the Midwest Preparedness Camp out. And so we were racing to get all these trees planted. And we planted 800 trees in 3 days. Oh my gosh. I never want to do that again. Tag, are you ever thinking about propagating any of your wild huckleberry trees? After watching Deep South video, I need wild huckleberry. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it. Oh my goodness.
Propagating?
Yeah.
Propagating.
Mr. Rain says on his dump truck, it's $11,500 for rims and tires.
$11,000.
Now, Mr. Rain, I've been talking over the last couple of years about getting a dump truck with
that
my
can't
wife,
be for 4
and
tires.
you just ruined it. The old callus over here is not going to go for 11.
Ridiculous. That costs more than my car.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Rain. Thank you very much.
You're not getting a dump truck unless it doesn't need tires. Ever.
So I can get a tracked one? Yeah. Darlene Martin says, do everything in love. God's last commandment, love one another.
Love one another.
Yeah. Billy Bob is very religious. Can he come fishing with us? Yeah, but he has to bring his own beer. Billy Bob is very religious. Can he come fishing with us? Yeah, but he has to bring his own beer. I missed it. Did you get it?
Billy Bob.
Yeah, those are expensive. Let me see. I'm tired. Had family come in out of town and been out with them. Good night. Blessings to all. Much love. See you next time.
Good
Treasured
night.
home. Good night to you. Let me see. I had to peel every egg off of my ducklings. I was a nervous wreck, says Tamara.
Oh.
Yeah. Starlight Oak says she's interested if you want to do it. I'm thinking about getting a tiller that will be very friendly for my small, petite size. So I'm wondering what B uses for a tiller. If not, can anyone recommend one? So we have a tiller.
My tiller just got burned up.
Well, you lost a wheel.
The little one.
Oh, the little one. The Mantis.
She said a little one is.
Yeah.
But it's no longer.
Yeah.
But the big one was my dad's, and I could run that one just fine by myself.
Yeah, Jules, I'm not even going to read your comment. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Was she asking for his butternut squash seeds?
No, she was talking about how much big trucks cost to do oil changes.
Oh.
Raven Nest, good evening to you. So we have a Troy-built tiller, and then we also borrow from our neighbor. He's got a 3-point tiller that we can use if we want to, but the truth is we don't really till, right?
Yeah, I don't like tilling.
She really prefers the no-till method, so we don't do a lot of tilling. Tamara says one you can put behind your tractor. Yeah, Starla says to Mandy, probably needs to replace the tire before she uses it. The tire, I think, burned up in a fire. That's just the little one. The little one burned up in a fire. Her big tiller that she got from her dad, we haven't even started it in several years because we just don't use it. I'm planning on buying a new car so I can get new tires. Right. OB, I found the moringa seeds yesterday. I'll send you some.
Yes.
A mantis is good. Yeah, we have a mantis, but again, we just don't really till. You know, we work really, really hard on getting the gardens to be weed free. And, when she pulls like a tomato plant at the end of the year when it's dead, she'll pull it up and just lay it in the walkway and it'll just decompose, with the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wilma Rock says, my tiller has been a shovel.
Yeah.
Mandy says, oh, yes, thank you guys for sending me seeds and a honey stick. So yummy. Always. Maybe a broad fork, depending on how big the space is you're wanting to till. Yeah, you tell them about your broad fork. I made you one.
I have a broad fork. I love it. Yeah.
You have a big, mean broad fork.
Yeah. I don't know. That's not the size of normal broad forks.
No. So, guys, what I did is I had some leaf springs off a 1-ton truck. And so what I did is I heated them up and flattened them. I cut the teeth for her broad fork. I put a solid 2-inch piece of steel and a solid handle with some gussets on it, so she couldn't 2 handles on the gussets, so she couldn't break it. And that thing's a beast.
Yeah, I have not had any problems with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's big.
And then you welded my name on the side of it.
I did weld your name on the side of it, so it says B on it in weld. Let me see here. Tag, sorry for that fire damage you all had. Oh, that's all right. You know what? It's there's so much good that came from it. And, we talked about this in the last live. The guys opened up all of his land, asked me to come cut a whole bunch of firewood, which is resources I don't have to use on my own land.
And he went up there and replanted those cedar trees that I was so concerned about him burning. He went and replanted them.
Yep. So he went up there with his tractor and planted, I don't know, how many do you think he planted?
17. I counted.
Yep. So he planted 17 new cedar trees for B because he burned up her old ones. And they're a lot littler and they'll take time to grow, but he did it. I didn't have to do it.
Yeah, I went up there and watered them.
Yeah. Big Kid says, once you have good soil, nothing wrong with no-till, but it doesn't work in rock hard clay.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we've been working on the soil now for years. And so we're just going to keep doing it, I think. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday, says Amy B. We're going to have a weekend not underwater with rain. Congratulations.
Wow.
I'm wearing my Free Woman shirt right now. It's so comfy. What's that? What's THB?
To be, I don't know.
I wore it yesterday. Faith says, hubby's church is letting me have a nice big space behind it for a garden. And one of the guys is going to drive his tractor over and till it. It's the easiest way to till. Oh, yeah, when someone else does it. I love this.
Yeah. Oh, that's To Be Honest. I wore it yesterday, too.
Oh, To Be Honest. Okay, cool. There ain't nothing wrong with that. The ones that are the sweatshirts that are, how do they call it?
What?
Sublimation printed? Sublime? Yeah. They're so soft. Man, I love them things.
That's what this is. That's what yours is, too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the sweatshirts. These are soft, too, but the sweatshirts are just amazing. Dang, Tag, can she lift it, a tilting fork? Yeah, she does, man.
It is heavy.
It's heavy, but you ain't breaking it. You are not going to break it.
No, I have not. I have dug out a plum tree from our old house. I dug out hazelnut trees from our old house. And then, of course, a bunch of flowers, bulbs. But, yeah. And the teeth, I don't know what you said that they were made out of, but, like, the one side of them, they're all the same level, but then if you flip it around, they're like jagged. So they're like, I don't know. It's like blunt if you rock it one way, and then it's like sharp if you rock it the other.
Yeah, it was a great invention, and she has not been able to break it. And B, much like according to Mr. Rain, Heidi can tear up an anvil.
Can she do that? Or is that what he was teaching her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I'm hard on stuff.
Yeah, but she ain't able to break this one. Half Bubble Off Plum says, B, when you pull the tomato plants and drop them in the walk path, do you cover them with anything like leaves, or you just drop them and leave them?
No, I just drop them and leave them.
Yeah, so when we get to the beginning of the year, if it's gotten thin in there, we'll roll hay up and down again. Just continue to build up the things, but we just drop them and leave them. Starless says 6 yards of topsoil coming to fill raised beds. So excited. Woo! Yeah, cool. Yep. Mr. Rain says, keep an eye on Iron Planet. Yeah, I watch it from time to time. Yes. Dog Creek Farm says, I sent Tag a picture of my son in his Freeman hat. Really made me think of the power of the next generation of the Freeman.
Yeah, the next generation. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, this is a great Dog Creek. You're reading my mind. So I had a conversation today with my oldest son. And it was, you going downstairs?
No, I was going to turn on the light.
Okay.
Do you need something?
No, I just thought you were going to go check or whatever. Anyway, so I had a conversation with my oldest son. So he's almost 30. And, whoa. What are you doing? You turning it on?
Oh, sorry. There's like 3 animals in the yard over here. They're all cats, though.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway.
Sorry.
So I had a conversation with my son. And he was talking about the Midwest Preparedness Project's Facebook page. And he said, hey, Dad, I don't want to put my nose in where it don't belong, but I thought I would give you some advice. I'm like, all right. And guys, my oldest son is a successful business guy. He understands social media. He's got a lot going for him. So he said, hey, if you look down, the last 3 posts are Glenn Beck and, the stolen election. And the one before that is some movie about dealing with snowflakes. And the one that he said, if what you're trying to do is attract the youth, most youth are kind of in the middle. And so if they come to this page, they're never coming back. And, you should do something about this. And, if it's about preparedness, you should limit the posts that are on there to being preparedness. And so I went down the road to him and I said, Bud, here's the problem, is that who gets to determine what's preparedness, right? Who gets to determine that? And then if we begin to start getting rid of posts, where's the line? I mean, you're talking about arbitrarily censoring things. Mm-hmm. right? And he's like, yeah, but how do you attract the youth? If you're going to keep going down that, how are you going to attract the youth? So I would propose to you guys, how do we attract the youth? How do we get more youth into our movement? I'd love to know the answer to that question.
What's the youngest person in here? Who believes that they are the youngest person in here?
Yeah, I'd be interested to know that. Hey, B, could you make squash creme brulee? No, she cannot.
I could.
No, not possible. See, behind almost 5 days because of the weather, says Skane's girl, but I've gotten super busy at home. Yep. Poontang says, not me. Yeah, not me. Make a prepping game. All avatars and no real world action. Yeah, I don't think that's going to attract them. I put up polls or posts about what newer people are hoping to learn. Invite them. I mean, start with your own kids, then spread to like-minded kids. Yeah, I think it's an interesting argument, and I think he's right in one regard, in that we have got to figure out how to pass on all that we've built and all that we know and all of these things to the next generations. But they're an interesting generation, and that they run pretty easy, right? I mean, they're everyone's all trapped on their phone, kind of behind the scenes, Chris White said, I'm 21 and holding.
Come on.
The more we talk about how useless they are, the more they stay far, far away. Faith, this is exactly what I'm talking about when we went through the religion thing and all of that, is this exact thing. My son talking to everyone at SRF really had a huge impact. Yeah, so maybe getting your kids involved. I'm just curious how to attract them, how to get more to come to the campouts and to be involved. And because we have so much knowledge to pass on. I mean, I can do all kinds of stuff. B can do all kinds of stuff, Porterhouse says you can attract youth with chocolate milk. Alan Chase is 52. Last Wednesday. Happy birthday, Alan.
Happy birthday.
Too old and damaged to hand till, so I'm in love with our utility tractor. Implements including a tiller. Yep. Dog Creek says Grant just turned 16. Jonathan says, I don't know the answer, but I can tell you one thing. As soon as you can convince someone their life depends on something, it will matter to them. Yeah. But the problem is, if you hit them upside the head with, your life depends on this, will they not just run?
Yeah. Especially God.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. God, your life depends on
God,
this.
or prepping, or the Federal Reserve is the dollar's going to crash, the ESG system, how do we get them more involved? Because I think it's a journey issue, right? I mean, what I believe today is not what I believed 5 years ago, right?
Is it far off?
Yes.
Been for 5 years?
Yes. Got to remember, babe, in 5 years, I went through the COVID thing.
Yeah.
Right? I went through losing my career.
I know, but
I went through, and then also the world's changed so much more, right? I mean, 5 years ago, we weren't talking about ESG and great resets to a great degree. There's a lot of stuff going on, Eternity Homestead said, our girls 13 and 10 are into it. They garden and farm, and we teach them in their homeschool curriculum.
What? How old? 10?
13 and 10. My grandkids are literally grown up in this lifestyle. They don't know anything different. They are such amazing kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my question still remains the same. How do you attract new, younger people? I'm not talking about our kids. How do we grow it? I mean, I think passing it on to our kids is fine. Some will take it, some won't. How do we make the movement more popular to the youth? How do we get more of them?
To the 20-somethings?
Yeah, to the 20-somethings. How do we do that? Ask them if they would be in charge of something. Ask them if they would be in charge of something. I could put them in charge of all kinds of things. They can be in charge of chopping the wood. They can be in charge of pulling the weeds. They can, reach out to more homeschooling groups. They tend to have kids that are more independent. Get them hooked on being prepared with simple things like a multi-tool. Being prepared leads to good luck, and many will figure it out. They need to see the benefits to what they do. Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of what I'm at. What I'm getting at is, would we change the way we advertise? Would we change the way that we do things in order to attract the youth? Because I think at some point we're going to have to. I mean, all of us are getting old. The original people who go to the Midwest Preparedness Project and that have been coming for years and years and years, we're all old people now. We started young. right?
At one time.
Well, it's just the 20th one.
Yeah.
Lots happened in 20, you know. The raised beds are a way to go unless you want to plant field peas, watermelon, corn, and stuff like that. Miley says giveaways, laugh out loud, or money. Here they come. Yeah. The kids need to bring their friends. So that's a good idea. Sticker mugs. Have our youth talk to them. I think it's going to take a young YouTuber. Oh, that's a really good point. I wonder if I could find, if I know some young homesteaders, you know, who are in their 30s and 20s. Wonder if you could get them to do that. Hire them to help out. Maybe. I have some wicking tubs that work really good too. Texas Prepper 2 has a modified version that she likes. We have Prep for the Attorney Homestead said we have 28, 25, 15, 13, and 10. 5 children. One is bound to hit it big and take care of Mom and Pa. Yeah. Give them real food, says Marla. And where are all of y'all's kids? So mine are local.
Yeah, they're all local.
Yeah, mine are all mine are within 20 minutes of me. And mine are super involved. I mean, actually, at the Midwest Preparedness Project, my oldest son is giving a class this year. But I think what his point is that's fine inside the family, you know, because he grew up with me, you know, et cetera. How do we attract the youth to the movement? I'm not talking about our kids.
Not youth as in like, you say youth, but that's like youth is like under 18.
No, I'm talking about 20s. How do we help them get started early?
Yeah.
You know?
They're adults. You're looking for adults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking for adults, young adults. Maybe that's a better way to say that. Let me see here. Someone mentioned to visit college campuses and universities. Check out those young people who took agriculture classes, etc. That's what I plan to do, finding young people with the same kind of interest. Yeah, I wonder if that'll work though, Mandy, because, you know, our school systems, much like our churches, much like all the other things that I complain about, have been way indoctrinated. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, if you go to any, you know, university, we're next to one of the best ag universities in the country, which is Kansas State University, and they preach there's no other way, you know, but fertilizers and, you know, pesticides and herbicides. Most youth and 20-somethings live in a disposable world, so they need to see the ROI.
A disposable world.
Yeah. I don't think they are on YouTube because they're on TikTok. You know, I've had a lot of people tell me to get on TikTok. I just haven't done it. I just started gardening with my son, Dill, and 3-year-old grandson, all new to gardening. Even the little guy planted and watered. I love that. Texas boys have some young folks.
Yeah.
Cletus says wood-fired pizza oven. That's a pretty good answer. What about Farm Homestead Campo? It's where they go to several during like a month to get and help and learn, work for food and skills. 4-H, one more rock said, you know, 4-H, at least here, has become super political. I mean, not that would necessarily stop or, you know, stop you from doing it, but let me see. Agriculture kids are immersed in big ag. Heaven forbid if you talk about regenerative agriculture, anti-Monsanto, etc. Yeah, that's a great point. 4-H or FFA. Yeah. The little ones always seem to love it. Same stage girl. LJC says we need to find younger role models for them. Successful freesteaders in their 20s and 30s. Most of us are in our 50s and 60s. I could not agree more. And how do we do that? I mean, I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time contemplating this because I think my son had a great point that, again, if we're going to hit them over the head with a sledgehammer, they're going to run the other way. So how do I do that? You know, Mr. Rain says, find common interests which might help nudge kids to prepping, such as camping and bushcraft. Yep, a lot of young adults are already bucking the system and opting out of the university. They see what a scam it can be to start with all that debt. Yeah, and I wonder if we're going to see more and more of that. I bet you do. You know, what do you think? Mm-hmm. You know, I bet. The haulers are in their 30s. I've raised watermelon, southern peas, and raised bed, wondering why you can't. Rain Country says, too many social media sites will drain you. I had to start telling people no. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, mine have dropped out of 4-H over their CV policies. It was so liberal. Yeah, and that's getting worse and worse. I mean, maybe we start a young person's club, you know, or I mean, I would be okay with starting a 20s, you know, homesteading social media platform, or maybe there's a Facebook page that you could, get a bunch of them together. Maybe what you need to do is just find, as LJC was talking about, find a couple role models to kind of lead the charge. Maybe. Hippocrates Garden says, get them a pair of chickens. It's the gateway.
Yeah.
I have one recommendation. Check out Gardening with Leon here on YouTube for the wicking tubs. Okay. Not 4-H anymore. I'm persona non grata with the 4-H here because I don't bow to their alter academia. Yeah. Ask them if they like eating bugs. Somehow just make it fun, just as Mark Shepard said. You see that more in the homeschooling movement, especially people who do unschooling. I don't know how I feel about unschooling, because I think teaching your kids to read and write and math is important. I mean, I know that. I don't know. Maybe I'm uneducated. I don't understand how it really works.
I think they still teach that, don't they?
Well, wouldn't that be schooling?
I think it's like not necessarily sitting at a desk. Is how, I don't know.
Okay. Maybe out counting tomatoes is their math class. Is that unschooling? You see, let me see. I think young adults are very interested in looking for a better way of life more than ever before. Drill down to specific marketing for Midwest preparedness. But youth will recruit youth. A few will draw in others. Yeah, I think we need to really make a run at that. I'm just not sure how to do it. That's a shame about 4-H. I learned so much from them. Hippocrates says, re-elect Brandon. The truth will become self-evident, unfortunately. Yeah, you'd think it would already be. Maybe getting some to do conferences. Yeah, I'm excited about, we've got some young ones speaking this year. No more potatoes. Let me see here. Last year at 2, I had him plant zinnias in the pot, and he checked them out every time he came in the house. Faith says, we unschool. Our kids are pretty smart. Eldest went to community college, graduated president of the Honor Society, and served on the National Honor Society. Faith, will you do me a favor, because I'm just ignorant to this point? Explain unschooling to me so that I can wrap my head around it, because what it sounds like unschooling would be not schooled, right?
So then, like, don't teach them how to read and write.
Yeah. And so obviously that's an ignorant statement. But Faith, if you wouldn't mind, I'd be very interested in what that.
You just let them run around.
Yeah. Starter says, reach out to the community and put in a kids garden and offer classes to teach them. It works even with adults. Yeah. At the Midwest Preparedness Project, there's 4 or 5 kid classes that go on every single year. And they build things and do things and that. But again, that's inside the circle. So inside the circle, I don't have the question. I know how to do that. My question is, how do I bring them from the outside? Right? Cletus says, I think unschooling means the child's interest sets the curriculum. It would almost necessarily require math and reading and all of that at some point. Let them play and get dirty. Okay, so we have William Bond and an even younger 2 and RL Homestead here on YouTube. Yeah, I wonder if we could get them to do, more and more of that. I don't know. Prep Fraternity says unschooling is teaching real life. Unschooling for most is allowing the child to learn to read and write when they are ready, rather than forcing it on them at a set age. Porterhouse says, lead by example. If they don't follow, they don't follow. People come to their passions and beliefs in their own timeline. Be the example. Yep, sorry, that tie. Okay. Unschooling takes advantage of teachable moments throughout the day. Kids may have a tendency to take a better interest in the subject. Okay. Yeah, in large part. I read to them. Sorry, blew right by me. I read to them from birth. They all, even our mostly nonverbal autistic son, could read by age 2. Yeah, my kids love to read. One in particular. Tag, if you really want to do it, put your money out to buy a large plot of land and offer parcels to young people on payments if they are willing to build the dream. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. And I guess we've always kind of wanted to create our own bank, but really, I mean, unschooling here is we don't use the school standards, but we do teach math, reading, and life skills. Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, my friend's daughter didn't read until she was 8. Then she became an author. How cool is that? Again says, my youngest sister never went to school. My parents were afraid to send her, and they took us twins out at 12 years old. We taught her to read, write, and basic math. She taught herself after that. That's cool. I should have said when and how they are ready. I used to use this with my youngest when it came to reading because he really struggled. But when he was ready, he learned by writing his own stories. Oh, cool. School just not always behind the desk. All of the kinds of ways to learn. Yep. Here in the community, it's all summer thing this year. I have one whole family coming. We start May 1st. Cool. We eat dirty when we was a little. Laugh out loud. Got to get in the dirt. Yeah, I actually agree with that. Let me see. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Valentin 114. Sorry, my comment's late, but I would think to reach younger people is to show the example of when the sickness started and the people will panic and even shopping for toilet paper, just being prepared. Yeah, I think there's a way to reach them, and I think you're onto something. I just am not sure how to not scare them off, right? Because I think they're, I don't want to say this, but I mean, a lot of cases just fragile that way.
Yeah.
My oldest, it wasn't very long ago, back when Bernie ran, he thought Bernie was going to be the greatest president ever. And now that he's grown up and has kids and a mortgage and all of these things, I mean, he gets it now. But had I pushed too hard back then, would that have caused him? I just said, do what you want to do, man. But would that have caused him to go the other way? I don't know. Let me see. Is that a Montessori method? What Stacy did? I must have missed it. I did half traditional homeschooling and unschooling. We did gardening or go to museums, grocery shopping, turned into math class. That's actually like that idea. What are better investment than land in the future of our young? I agree. I see them unschooling as breaking away from the government layout, but going more natural. I think many would like Charlotte Mason's book on this, which are excellent, says Heidi. Charlotte Manson advocates tend to be very against unschooling, but I liked using some of her methods over the years, says Faith. Kids learn at their own pace. Okay, I'm caught up. What you got?
That's it.
That was a pretty interesting topic, right? I didn't know that it was going to get there.
About
how to bring in the youth, that there would be as much interest in this. I mean, how do we? I think it's super critical. For me, my personal family, this is not going to be hard. My boys grew up with me. They're both very like-minded. They're both doing the things that I wish I would have been doing at their age.
Yeah.
Right. They are successful. They're all of those things, but I really got to figure out how to bring more youth. And
you say youth, but
young adults. And so my question is, like on pages like the Midwest Preparedness Project, what should it look like that would encourage that?
I think everybody would be different. And we're also some people want to do, make and takes, and some people want to do fire starting, and some people want to do, hey, let's wood burning stove stuff. And
but my question is, babe, is that
how
do I want to come in swinging the Bible and the torch?
No.
Do I want to come in and give the perception of the bucket, the backpack, and the 1022 isn't enough? Right? How do we attract them? By creating the right message to attract them. And I don't know the answer. I mean, I'm just curious what anyone else thinks, His return says the public school in this area are starting finance management and planning in the upper grades. Yeah, I don't think we teach enough about finance, how money works. Paul Wheaton has a case study. Two people, one went to college and went into debt, and the other worked and saved money and bought land and built their own house and was debt-free and had a more free life. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think college in a lot of cases is overrated. I think that for the vast majority of youth, learning how to weld or, some skill would take them way further than what's going on in the school system today. And I don't think that's true for doctors and engineers. And, that obviously has to have it. But let me see here. Amy says, I wish I would have had more exposure to this life when I was young. I had public school in the suburbs. Now I have a pond and 5 acres and feel like I came home. Yeah, Amy, I totally agree with this. And there's so many great kids out there. You know, I just really love to figure out how to bring in more youth and pass it along.
So, like on Amy, she says, I wish I would have more exposure to this life when she was younger. So, exposure to the life would be.
But how do we expose them to it? Because again, what I'm wondering about, and guys, I'm never going to censor anything. I can assure you of this, because freedom only works if it works both ways. If they get to the freesteading, or they get to Midwest Preparedness Project, for example, and I just know we noticed it today at Midwest Preparedness Project.
Yeah.
The first 3 things they're going to look at are super, I don't want to say tinfoil hatty, right? But it's the overbearing part of it. You know, it wasn't, you know, hey, this is how to grow a tomato, nor was it, hey, this was, you know, how to start a fire. It wasn't any of those kind of things. Or this is how to be more self-reliant. This is what a solar system looks like.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was the other side. And so how do I speak to them is what I'm asking. How do I get to their why?
I think their why is going to be different.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. Okay, where in the world am I at? Oh, one more rock says, I think it would involve a challenge and an adventure aspect. A game of some sort. Let me see. Where in the world am I at? I have all of my blackberry plants. What is that word right there? Satsuma? I say that right? Satsuma tree?
Sure.
And some veggies in syrup tub, wicking tubs. And I made one out of a big old liquid cattle feeder. Tests only pigeonhole without showing a child's full potential. I agree with that. See here, my high school has paired with local vocational school, and some kids choose to do training for welding, electrical, and other trades more seriously under 18 rather than making them wait. Yeah, Faith, we did this with both my boys. As they during their junior and senior year, they went to community college. One took graphic arts and one took electronics. And because I just wanted them to have some other skill before they went off chasing whatever their dream was. And both has actually been helpful to both of them.
Yeah.
You know, neither one of them do that for a living, but Mandy said, I like the way Mark Shepard recruit young people as interns. They came to him and he doesn't go find them. I wish it was that easy, because I would love to have them coming to me. I would put everything I had into them. Do they seem to like scavenger hunts? How about a workshop on how to pay down your college debt? Yeah, don't take it out. Class over. Everybody gets an A. Let me see here. Where am I at? Jonathan says, sometimes all you can do is just plant seeds in people and not get them too stressed out about trying to shortcut them straight to the same maturity level you're at. This goes for many things. Yeah. LJC says, with a discussion on how compounding interest works. Yeah, we do not teach our kids enough about that. Homesteaders in American Virginia in October holds kids classes age appropriate. Yeah, we do it at Midwest Preparedness too, and this works great for the families who are already living the life and bringing their kids. I think those are easy to reach. Again, what I'm trying to figure out is that, you know, the kids that are disgruntled and don't know where they belong and are looking for something else, you know, how do we reach out? How do we get more youth involved that way? Richter says, Tag, maybe set it up like an after school program. They are everywhere up here and are super popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've offered the local school a couple different times if they want to bring a class out to learn about solar, for example, right? That they could come out and I'd give them a, you know, tour and this is how this works and all of those kind of things, but they've yet to take me up on it.
Yeah.
Good. What's that? Oh, okay. Hey, Choche. B was reminding me how to pronounce it because Chiochi is what I would always say, but Choche, B has it written down, and when you popped up, she pointed me to it. So isn't that a good girl? When my boys were young, she says, we did a cross-country trip in a motorhome and taught history along the way, and they still say they learned more seeing history than reading about it. That's a great point, actually.
Seeing it, yeah.
Yeah, Cul-de-sac says a lot of young adults are into archery. A lot of them are too healthy, eating and living green, which overlaps homesteading and preparedness. Promote that. Hands-on opportunity, like my friend gave me bulldozer lessons. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. You know, Tag, there could be good money made or good deals given buying a large plot and financing 5 to 25 acre plots to homesteaders. Land is so much cheaper to large plots. It is so much cheaper to large plots. And there's
We've talked about a lot of this.
We've talked about a lot of this. Yep. And there's actually some other homesteaders that are interested in doing this, you know, like everybody getting together.
Yeah.
buying up 200 acres and then dividing it up. The thing is that for me, making money on it would not be my biggest goal. I think we'd be better off trying to get them in as cheap as we could get them in, right? Because that's what starts that whole process. Because people in their 20s don't have the money you have when you're in your 40s, right? Or maybe make it heavy at the end. I don't know. Kids like movies and pizzas. They do. Perhaps approach the trade schools or Boy Scout, Girl Scouts and offer to teach a badge. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That's actually interesting. Wheaton Labs Boot Camp, says Amy B. All right, so what else do I got on my list? Guys, thank you for all your feedback. I would, again, you guys know how to get a hold of me. Tag nb@lifedonefree.com. Email me, whatever. I'd love to, anyone who's willing to help push, and make a difference. I'm, super interested, Yeah, Big Kid says that's why I said give good deals. Yeah, because I think if you get a whole bunch of them, it'd be super helpful. Let me see what else we got here today. I told that whole story already. Hey, by the way, Freesteading crossed 16,000 members.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, right?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. What else is going on in the world today? I'm sure you guys heard that OPEC. Yeah, she says thanks, B. Chochi. Choche.
Choche.
Yep. American Trail and American Girl are the less corrupt versions. Or Trail Life and American Girl are the less corrupt version. I think she's talking about Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you guys heard OPEC cut their oil by 1 million barrels a day, and Russia by 500,000 barrels a day, which means gas prices
are going to go up.
But they were going to go up anyway because of inflation and all that, and more usage and just inflation all by itself.
Yeah, it always goes up in the summertime.
Yeah, with the dollar losing its value, baby, everything's going to go up. And if you look, I found this actually interesting. I looked at it today. The dollar has lost against, over the last 5 days, has lost against the euro, but gained against the yuan. So I find that fascinating. So it's gained against the Chinese currency, but lost against the European currency, which is weird to me because Europe's in a mess, just, kind of like we are, What else is going on here? BRICS. I'm following the BRICS nations things pretty close because if they do offer a commodity-backed currency, which is what they're talking about doing, I think it would, usher in hyperinflation. So that's something I'm watching a lot. I think you guys should watch it too. You see, I was just talking with David about holding off on having our oil tank filled at this time. Yeah, I think I'd go fill it because, I really think that, it's got to go up. They don't really have any choice, right? So, the dollar is losing its value, which by itself will create an increase. And then you've got the stuff going on at Russia and China and OPEC and people cutting oil and, all the stuff that goes on. I think it's inevitable. Popri says, you don't think it will go down again?
The gas.
I think I don't know, man.
Back to $1.80 or what?
I think those days aren't ever coming back.
They're never coming back.
I think you're going to see ups and downs in it though. But I think because our country's done nothing to actually address the issues, all we do is just keep printing money. It's inevitable that it would just continue to go up in price. All right. Look at anything over the last 3 years. Any single thing you buy, it's funny. I was, down, I bought some OSB for $10 a sheet and celebrated it like, oh my gosh, I got the greatest deal ever. But the fact of the matter is that's 20% more than it was 3 years ago.
Yeah. And
I was celebrating that price, so. Potpourri for Life says, oh no, it went down last fall, then it went up. It was high last spring. Then in the fall, I got a better price. I'd fill it up. I don't think it's worth the risk to save. It goes down by 30 cents. But you do you, right? I'm not I can't predict it. So who knows? But I agree with Half Bubble Off Plum. I would just fill it up. What else is going on here?
Because you stand to gain, what you stand to lose is it goes up higher and then you're out and then you are like, well, crap.
Well, it's not just that, but let's suppose for the moment that World War III lights off, guys.
Right. Or you can't get any more.
Or whatever it is, you've got a full tank of gas.
Yeah.
And Can Squatch says no pricing levels will ever return to 2020.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think at the very least, I try to keep my tanks full for several reasons. One, if I let them get empty, filling up a 500-gallon tank is expensive
Mm-hmm.
versus, having them come out every, month and just top them off. I get little bills. Jules says with the markets, banks, pretty much everything's starting to visibly fail. Yeah, it's a mess, guys.
Yeah.
It is such a mess. And I think nobody could predict it, but I think you're going to see a lot of instability in a lot of different ways, right? I mean, for us who live this life, we probably won't see it as much because we grow some of our own food and we live a different life. But imagine, that person paying, $6,500 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown New York.
Right.
Has anyone else gotten health assessments from their county asking all kinds of really personal questions about a wide variety of things? So concerning. And now my feed is freezing and buffering. Yeah, cul-de-sac. I have not gotten that, but I would love to see a copy of that.
Yeah.
If I think if they sent me that, I think Louise Milliman said it right, which is no is a complete sentence. So I probably would not be answering that. What else? I found this interesting. So when the banks failed, those last 3 or 4 or 5 banks, I was doing some reading into the banks and then withdrawals. Did you know $223 billion has been withdrawn from U.S. banks in a month?
That does not surprise me.
Well, I mean, people run to their banks, right? And how many people, and you guys do not have to answer this question. 223
billion.
Yeah. How many people on this feed tonight, when those banks and all that went and took a little extra money out of the bank? You do not have to answer this. Don't type it in here, but just think to yourself, I wonder how many went and ran to the bank and said, hey, give me $5,000 or give me $2,000 or, whatever. I'm going to store it away, So I think that's pretty interesting. Richter says we are at war. For now, it's only financial. Actually, Richter, I would challenge this just a little bit, that say that the financial war, and I do agree we're at war, this is the next generation warfare, that we may never get to a point where tanks are fighting, right? That they're fighting all electronic, they're fighting, cyber, they're fighting, they're doing all of this other stuff, economic warfare, they're doing all of this, that it may not ever get to tanks, hard to say, but Half Bubble Off Plum says we are constantly making a list of things we may need down the road, prioritizing them and crossing them off. Yeah, I had a very interesting thing happen to me today. I had a lady call me who I think very highly of. And she was talking about, hey, what do you do with money today? It's such a hard question for me because what used to make so much sense to me doesn't make any sense anymore.
Right.
And so we talked about, the markets. We talked about, money that you would typically have in the bank. And because the banks don't have to keep any reserves anymore, right? Their money, they just loan it all back out. Actually, they borrow on it first and then loan all of it back out. That an insurance company offers a little more safety in fixed type assets because they're more regulated. But then you're banking on the stability of that particular insurance company. Right. And then so we talked about how what assets would you buy? And I was like, well, pick your next 10 projects and get all of your material there. Buy land. She was talking about maybe buying a rental house. I think that's as good as better than putting it in the market. Why? Seriously. Man, I'm telling you, the market's way over purchased.
I know, but a rental house, geesh.
It's an asset. It'll never be worth zero.
What about...
You could take your money and you could go put it in the market right now today, and we could have a 1929, 1930 drop, and now
unless they, totally destroy your house, and then that's that.
It's still an asset. You may have to go in and
buy a cow and a building and a fence.
Okay, except your cow
might die.
You right, and then you've eaten it.
Hopefully, you're growing cows.
Well, I'm just saying it's super interesting to watch what people want to do with their money. I keep telling everybody to try to get income poor and asset rich. I that's the advice I gave her, is that I would put my money in assets, like something you actually hold, and that I know a lot of people talk about gold and silver, but I'm actually kind of afraid of that. I think this whole digital dollar thing, pretty quick, they're going to regulate the hell out of that. They don't want the black market forming at all.
I like money in my hand.
Milk and Honey says no money in the bank. Hippocrates said, I get monthly checks from the family farm. Instead of just depositing it, I've been depositing half and half in cash.
Yeah.
Gypsy says we did that months ago. Let me see. He definitely made sure I have a cash buffer at home. Invest in family, friends, and community, said Rickster. Got a spare bandsaw blades and sharpening stones today. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Porterhouse agrees with Rickster about investing in your friends and your family and your community.
Yeah.
Some sample questions from the county. In the past 30 days, how much of the time have you felt out of sorts or anxiety? Like, oh man, I hope people answer those questions.
In the past 30 days, how
Yeah.
much time have you felt out of
Yeah.
sorts or anxious?
Don't leave anything in the bank. I spend a certain amount on preps and metals and put everything else in cash in hand. LJC says the problem with rentals is that during COVID, renters didn't have to pay rent, and you couldn't evict them, at least here in New Mexico, right? See, that
happened.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I don't think that this person was actually talking about investing in it so for rental income, just to have the asset. Instead of having the money in cash, you have the money in a building, right? Because it becomes an asset. But that's a great point. That's a trap question, says Eagle Lover. Yeah, no thanks. What if we were forbidden to spend gold and silver and only use digital dollar? Raven Nest, I'd go a step further to say that that's exactly what's going to happen. Is that they're going to they did it in World War II. And, one thing.
Grocery stores won't accept anything other
Correct.
than.
Correct. So you're left to barter your gold and silver with a community, right? But you might as well just barter the chicken for the chicken or the duck for the whatever.
Usually it's when you're going to the grocery store, it's something you can't get at the farm.
But they're not going to take gold and silver.
Cocoa powder.
Guys, we're all going to participate in the digital dollar. I don't see any way around it. Because again, you can't grow everything.
Because you can't go get that item without.
What are you going to do? If that's the only way you can pay for it.
No cash accepted.
That's what I don't know. Forbidden is not going to happen. Black markets and barter will spring up behind it. I think that black market and barter will be mainly regional, and which means, what I can grow here, everybody can grow here. I don't think that's maybe not true. Maybe a little bit down the road, you'd start picking up other things where you'd have salt and some of the other things coming from other places.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Rankin said, what did I miss here? What is the reasoning for the county to ask such a question? Are they psychologists now? Yeah. I'd love to know what was behind it. What's the plan when the livestock feed is tainted or can't buy an animal at auction unless it has been vaccinated? Yeah.
Oh, didn't even think about that part.
Yeah, but this is actually a good point. One more rock hit it right on the head. This is why community matters so much. You should be, not going to the auctions anymore and not buying from the auction anymore. You're buying from the farmer next door, and you've created this network that allows you to kind of work, kind of with everybody. Half Bubble Off Prump said, I had 4 houses, sold one when the market was high, paid off another, and debts. Now have 3 and less than 18K on the mortgage. Yeah. So see, there's a source of income, right?
If they're paying it.
Yeah. Pope Real Life said, do not answer those health questions. Even in a clinic, they ask those questions. I refuse to answer them. It's a psychological scam. Cul-de-sac says she'll mail me a copy of it. Yeah, cool. Right. Be more cash accepted. That's already started. Yeah, it's already started. I mean, I don't see how any of us get around it. You guys have heard me say many times that I don't think getting 100% free is possible. I think you can get close. But in the end of the day, there's just some things.
But you have to get somewhere.
Well, yeah. Are you going to stop? Are you going to stop driving your car because you're not going to buy gas? You're not putting in a gas plant, right? You're not putting a refinery in.
Can't we melt down some pig fat?
Well, maybe. But babe, the point is I can give you a million of those examples, right? Are you going to get an oil change on your vehicle ever? Mm-hmm. Where are you going to get the filter from? You going to make that?
We can clean it out.
Yeah. Well, that's only lives so long. Let me see. I read up on what happened during all the previous financial crises, including Venezuela. Good for you, Jules. There's a lot to be learned to that, because it sure seems to me we're heading down the Venezuela road. Dolores, good evening. There are community questions too. How safe is your community? Has anyone ever threatened you? Is your neighborhood have any infestation? Have you ever tested positive for COVID? What the hell? Oh my goodness. What a mess. I wouldn't answer any of them. Rent the rooms out, recoup your investment quicker.
Instead of renting the house out.
Yeah. We will be living like our grandparents and great-grandparents. Yeah, we kind of already do in a lot of ways, except a little more technology, right? Someone will step in and fill the void locally, exchanging what have you for digital dollars or whatever for a percentage. It always happens. Look at history. Yeah, it always happens over time, though, big kid. That's not a quick turnaround, right? And it's just not, they talk a lot about gold and silver is not for a collapse. It's so when you get to the end of the collapse, you have options.
Oh.
Right? It's not really going to get you through that, Sometimes fish won't bite the bait. Sometimes don't take the bait. Sometimes. Horse and buggy tag. Well, yeah, but is everyone willing to go down the horse and buggy road? I mean, I understand that a horse and buggy is an option, but how many people are really going to give up their car? I mean, I don't see it. I just don't see
Especially if the things are, if nothing's
No way.
moving and you're coming at me with a horse and buggy.
Yeah. Yeah. Popery for Life said, please do not answer those questions. They more they know, the less privacy you have. I agree. If they started asking me questions like that, I would ask them if they have been castrated or had a colonoscopy anytime recently. Right? No worries, folks. I am not answering these questions. Yeah, we knew you wouldn't. We can't grow everything, but we can change our eating to eat what we grow. Our grandparents and parents ate what they could grow. Easier if you're a carnivore, ketovore, and have land and animals. Yes, and LJC, this is why I think we can get really close to freedom. I just think that at the end of the day, there's some things, right, that we're just not going to be able to do. And I think the art is to get rid of all the fronts you can get rid of. Right? If you can get debt free, get debt free. If you can produce your own energy so that you're whittled down to the times you have to interact with the system are more and more and more limited all the time. I've also got a ton of books specifically related to how folks lived in the Great Depression. Dale Carnegie said shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves and shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. 6 national parks will no longer take cash. Yep. Well, and we can protest it, just don't go there anymore. But I think in the end, we're all going to comply, at least to some degree. Whoops, hubby got home. I don't know what we're talking about, but I ain't giving up my car. See? Ravens asks, my rental will be a trading post if allowed. It's paid for in my home, but I chose to store things to trade instead of renting. I don't think it's a bad idea. And I think you will see those little trading posts pop up. Let me see. Valentin. Am I saying that right? Because there's a K on the front. I think the K is silent, but maybe not be. Anyway, Valentin 114 says, my 22-year-old said, talk about the loss of the value of dollar, water scarce in Philadelphia because of a spill today. Events make you want to prepare. Well, I think they'll all come running at some point, but I'd really like to get them here where they can still learn, in plenty of time. Back to the days of the horse and buggy won't hurt my feelings a bit. Yeah, makes it hard to go very far though, and I think that still, Roz, that'd be kind of the minority in a lot of ways. I don't think a lot of people would give up their car. If push came to shove, I would at some point. You may have no choice. Maybe is the real old car worth more to keep or sell today for what you can get today?
Depends on what kind of car it is.
Yeah, I think it depends, but I've got an old 1973 Chevy pickup. I'll never sell. I don't say never, but not like
never.
That. I've seen many videos recently talking about businesses that won't take cash anymore. Well, guys, there's something we can do about that. If you walk in and they won't take cash, make sure they understand your feelings on it, and then don't do business and go somewhere else. Cul-de-sac says, I paid cash for onion sets last week, and the cashier was stunned. Yeah. It's been about 3 months since I put gas in my truck. I have no need to go out often.
Wow.
Yeah, so for you, it might not be a big deal.
Months.
I'm starting to believe that like-minded neighborhoods will be valuable for all involved. Could not agree more. One more, Rock. Could not agree more. LJC wants to know the titles of the Great Depression book. Have you fed the horse? So you better have acres. And then there's the occasional vet needs. Yeah, and how are you going to pay for the vet? Right? You can barter with them. Tag, I think K is the first initial and Valentin is their last name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. I'd be interested to know. My grandparents had no car and walked everywhere, even at long distances. Man. If it has 4 feet, I can call off of it. Crawl, I'm assuming. What do you think she's meaning there? If it has 4 feet, I can call off of it. I think she means crawl off of it. What do you think? Oh, here's an interesting name. Let me see. Quillant Teleshevik. Hope I got that right. Not hard to go far, fun to go far. The trip to town used to be a big event. I'm down with that again. Actually, that is right. You know, me and B have been rewatching the Little House on the Prairie series, and it always was a big deal to go to town.
Yeah.
You know, especially a town away from, their little town that they lived in. Can Squatch said they'll discourage travel by car by taxing you for the miles you drive or the carbon you use, right? You'll burn up the amount of carbon credits that you could have used on your electric bill. Instead, you're burning it up on the car, so now you can't run air conditioning as much. That's the way I think it's going, versus taxes, because taxes are unpopular. They'll do it the other way. When it gets really bad, it won't be safe to go very far from your home. Yeah. I don't want to go anywhere these days anymore. Take my car.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Right at this moment, I feel like I want out of Jackson County. That's for sure. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the city, but that's just me. Yes, Kay is my first name. Okay, cool. I'm just going to call you Kay. Is that okay?
Is that okay, Kay?
Is that okay? K. Packrat, did Cuba ever give up cars during the embargo? No, but the war of attrition will wear on existing stock, especially since the last few decades of transpo rely on complex computers and fuel injection. Yeah. And if something breaks, right, you're going to have to participate in the system or it's just not going to run again. I texted my 30-year-old niece and asked what would get her to go to a homesteading festival. She said hands-on learning of canning and preserving.
There you go.
Good news, there's a lot of that goes on, right? Little House on the Prairie series, where? On, where are we watching on? Prime?
I don't know.
No, it's
Freevee?
Yeah, Freebie?
Freevee?
Freevee, I think is where we're watching it. And they've got all the seasons. And so I think we're on right at the end of season 3 right now. Big Kid says first year of the square body. Yeah, so I've got a 1973 crew cab 1-ton first year of the square body Chevy pickup. And it's a big old thing. I've never done any videos on it, but I don't want to get too much into the gearhead stuff, but we put a fuel injected LQ9 in it, and it's a really cool truck. Going back to roots, like Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, you know what the crazy thing is? Me and B were talking about this last night. I just can't find anything I'm all that interested in watching. Like we turn it on, I'm like, oh. Yeah. So like Little House on the Prairie and stuff like that are like the go-tos when I can't find anything else.
Or you like Unsolved Mysteries?
Sometimes.
Was it Unsolved Mysteries?
Mm-hmm. The old one, the one that was in the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see here. Kansas City is in Jackson County, just so you know. Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah. That's Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. Let me see. I plan to and live in an unincorporated area, work too close with a fuel efficient vehicle. My second vehicle is a small motorcycle, even better mileage. I think actually this would make some a really amazing prep is to have a motorcycle. You know? Yeah. I really want to find a 48 volt battery powered golf cart because I can use it on my solar system. Towards Joy and Freedom says they're watching on Amazon.
On what?
Little House on the Prairie.
Oh.
We're watching it right now, Towards Joy and Freedom. Right now, we're going through it. We're on season 3.
Well, not right now.
Well, not literally right now. We're obviously on the live right now, but I'd be interested in where you're at in it. What season are you on? Oh my goodness!
And then they go into their adult.
Guys,
too.
Yeah.
When they're adults, when she goes blind.
Mm-hmm. Is that where we're at?
She wasn't going blind. Sick.
She got sick. She got ran over by the horse, right?
Oh, anyway. I didn't know she got ran over by the horse. That's when she got sick?
Rickster says, modify your vehicle to run on moonshine. Yeah, but you're dependent on the things for the moonshine. Hey, Indiana Mike, what's up, bud?
Ahoy.
Yep. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
I haven't watched that one. Have you watched
that one? Not a lot of it. I wrote a few of them. Faith says, solar-powered golf cart. Oh, tag, you read my mind. Yep. Let me see. Yep. We are still on season 1. Okay, cool. So we're a little bit ahead of you. We're on season 3. Years ago, I purchased the series. Yeah, it's a great series. And if you want, the good thing I like about it is it's no doom and gloom. It's all good lessons and it's all good, don't get me all frazzled. Mm-hmm. I found out today that Hot Springs Village That's 32,000 acres. You aren't allowed to have a garden. There's zero chance I'm going to go live somewhere where they tell me what to do. Okay, they said they're on episode 6, season 1. If you start living simple now, you will survive all the challenges better than someone who is still not paying attention. We joke all the time about how we spend our life savings to live like we're camping.
Isn't that the truth?
Yep. Family says sell all them rides. You have one, say to them, better than money in the bank. Yeah, well, it is today for certain. Quillet says, I watch a lot of Gunsmoke in Cheyenne, but they are a little violent. Yeah, but it's so much better than what goes on today. I like Gunsmoke, and I've never watched Cheyenne series, but I've watched Gunsmoke many a times.
Is that the one that you were a super big fan of? Gunsmoke?
Yeah, it was when, remember when,
Gunsmoke.
well, it wasn't just that, but it was also the,
oh no, Lone Ranger.
Oh, I was a big Lone Ranger fan too, but any of those old Westerns. I'm a huge Western fan.
Yeah, your mom was a big
Western.
Western.
Any Westerns are good by me, pretty much. Richard says, people who go back to living like pioneers will survive the longest, and what a great way to starve the beast. Totally agree. Totally agree. Rain Country says series, but I must have missed her previous comment, because apparently they just blow by me. Big Kid says half ton or a good one. No, they're all good. Yeah, mine's at 1 ton. So I've got a crew cab 1 ton, and it's just such a big thing. I'll do a video on it one of these days. Let me see here. As we search for a homestead, we are making sure it is not in an HOA because we are going to garden and have chickens and such.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Run from HOAs. Packer says the Waltons, also a good one.
Oh.
Totally forgot about that one. We should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do the
I
Waltons.
never watched the Waltons. I've
Really?
never watched any episode of the
Oh, yeah.
Waltons.
It's wholesome, like Little House on the Prairie is.
It came after Little House on the Prairie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's like,
But did it come afterwards? I'm not sure. Rain Country says she loved Riflemen when she was a kid. Yeah, that was a good show too, and there was always a good moral of the story in that show too.
never heard of that one. You're way older than I am, though.
Way older, like 40 years.
Like 4.
Yeah. Kay says, B, really enjoyed your live on Strong Women. Totally believed it was the destruction of the family. I think it was 2 things: the destruction of the family and 100% increase in tax revenue. Right? I think it was both of those.
Right.
Yeah. Faith said they love the Waltons. Yes. Riflemen. Yep. I've been bringing on The Chosen. Lots to be learned on how they lived in Bible times too.
The
I've never watched.
Chosen?
Yeah, write it down. We'll check it out. But I've never. Good night, John Boy. Laugh out loud. Yeah. I have a long day, says Mandy Garrett. So tired and sleepy.
Yeah.
So we'll continue listening tomorrow. Good night, Mandy. Good night, my friend. Yeah. Rhonda says, love the Waltons. You know, Rhonda, when you said love the Waltons, what I thought when I first read it, I heard Warriors. And so
Warriors.
I come out to play. What was it? That was the movie Warriors, right? Isn't that what it was
Is
called?
that the name of the movie?
I think so.
I don't know. And he had the bottles on
Yeah.
his hand.
Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, Grizzly
Who
Adams.
was that? Was that Sean Penn?
No,
No.
I don't know. Amy B says Grizzly Adams.
Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, that's another good one.
We actually have a VHS with him, don't we? Do we have Grizzly Adams on
I don't know. I haven't put a movie in a movie player and
a movie player?
watch the first episode of The Waltons and you will see a Ouija board placed quite conspicuously in the store so you could not miss it. I was surprised. Okay, we got to do that now.
Huh.
In the first episode. Yep. Yes, and there was always a metaphor. Tag, can you find a 48-volt cart on them selling sites? I've been looking for one. I've never come across one, but I have been looking for one, Miley. And if I ever come across one, I just think it'd be just a great add to the homestead because I wouldn't have to use fuel. And I would set it up for B for the garden primarily. So it was just charged and she'd drive it up there and drive it back because she don't go nowhere. I would maybe even be convinced to sell some of my UTVs, because we wouldn't need them anymore. Kevin loves Rifleman. Lever action all the way. Yeah, I like the moral of the story and all those types of shows like that. Amy B says, good night, Jim Bob. Big Family and The Virginian. Both of them are good. Watch the FERT episode, says Rain Country. And later on, she says first, stupid fingers. Let me see. How about a lifted all-wheel drive smart car? No, thanks. Anything that requires the internet to run is a bad
Is that
idea.
a smart car needs the internet?
Well, yeah, because it's doing updates and it has its connectivity and all that. Guys, here's the thing. You connect to that stuff, they can shut it down. You have a smart refrigerator, they can shut it down. You have smart appliances, they'll be able to shut them down. One button, boop, we don't like you. You said something bad about the government. You said something bad about the church.
You cooked too many pizzas.
See ya. I'm out. None of that stuff's coming to my house. Let me see here. Oh man, apparently I'm falling behind again. Well, story of my life, right? Hearing the Waltons brings back childhood nightmares. Laugh out loud. Walton is my maiden name. Okay. Dana Green says, got to go to bed, working at 7. Have a great night. Dana Green, good night to you. B, my grandmothers were strong women, and I learned a lot from them. Yeah, I really like the strong woman conversation. I think that to pigeonhole what a strong woman is a dangerous road.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lady who took on Monsanto, who's an atheist, and she paid a huge price.
Yeah.
And she stood her ground and she fought, and she is as strong as I know, but she's an atheist. You know, so I think still. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I don't want to go back down that road because you get me all fired up again. I say put a panel on the top of that sucker too, longer mileage. Yeah, no doubt, right? I would actually maybe be able to try to figure out how to put a few, you know, maybe build like what you'd see as a ladder rack and put 6 panels up there, and it's just always charging. You never have to plug it in.
What about rocks? You're going to get rock chips. You're going to get
on top of it?
Yeah. Sure.
No. Driving around on a farm? No.
Sure.
No. Documentaries on pioneers. See, I love watching documentaries. Packrat says The Homecoming 1971, The Waltons 1972, and Little House 1974.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Cool. Some of the bad boy buggies are 48 volt. That's what I got. They have sold that part of the company to Textron. Yeah, I'd like to get one. Hey, ACM, good night, and I'll see you soon. Hey, Marcia, what's going on? Hee haw. Was always our Sunday night staple. Remember Hee haw? You don't remember Hee haw?
Hee haw.
The greatest music ever was.
Is that the girl, the lady with the tag hanging off of her? She had an old wicker hat and she had a price tag hanging off of it.
I don't remember that part. If I remember right, Mary got kicked by the horse and they had to get her to an expensive operation, and Ma worked in the hospital. Yeah, and Dad went and worked in the mines and was blowing up dynamite and all kinds of things to make it work. Mr. Rain says The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. All of those old Clint Eastwood Westerns are awesome. When she falls asleep, because my wife has this amazing ability to fall right to sleep.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, it don't take but seconds.
I don't want to hang out. I just want to.
But anyway, when she falls asleep, I turn on those old Westerns a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I watch.
Yeah.
I dream of Jeannie, Addams Family, and Get Smart.
I don't know what Get Smart is. Do you know what Get Smart is?
Yeah, I think it was he was like a detective, if I remember right.
Ma
and Pa Kettle are worth a chuckle. I get around to that one these days. Putting the panel on top has been done. There's a couple of videos of it done. Guy hasn't charged his in a couple years. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Big Kid says Craigslist is where I got the 2 golf carts I have. Yeah. Minnie Pearl. Yes.
Oh, Minnie Pearl was the lady with the
the
price tag hanging off of her hat.
Heidi says, doomed despair and agony on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Minnie Pearl. BR 549. I don't know what that is. Half bubble off plum. Oh, look at all those Minnie Pearls.
That's the lady.
Yeah, with the tag?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about Cousins Minnie Pearl. Yep.
My grandparents used to watch that.
We always watched these shows with the family, said Cul-de-sac. Us kids had to sit on the floor. Yeah, I grew up in the 70s. Us too. Pope Free, good night to you. I named one of my hens Minnie Pearl because of her crazy comb. Hee-haw. I seem to remember that all jug band. I was in my 20s before I got the joke behind the name. BR 549 rings a bell, but can't place it. Yeah, I can't place it either. Get Smart was a spy. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, Grandpa, what's for supper? Missy Started Oak says one forgotten prep, a washboard. Richard Hikes, BR549 was a phone number. Oh, okay. Packrat says Hee Haw and Rose Milk Hand Cream was a constant sponsor. Oh my goodness. You guys are crazy. Watched it eating a TV dinner.
Yes.
In the 70s, us kids were the remote control. Yeah. Turn the channel. Yeah, no doubt. I remember when we got our first color TV. Do you remember that?
I don't remember ever being without a TV.
Yeah, I do. Back in the day when I was a remote control. Yep. Momo Rock says our grandparents and great grandparents would roll over in their graves if they saw what was on TV now. I agree. Junior Samples phone number. Okay,
Yeah.
Yep. I have some. Oh, let me skip that one. Got to go. Good night, y'all. Hey, Porterhouse. Good night, my friend. TV Land had all of those shows. Yep. Remember adjusting the rabbit ears?
Yes.
A 300-watt panel on the roof of my cart takes care of most of my charging. Yeah. See, I could totally do this. And then, babe, you would never need fuel.
Yeah, which would be really cool.
Just get in it and don't make any noise. It's not loud.
Which would be really cool.
Yeah. I totally want to do this. Nothing like having to get up and turn on the antenna for better reception. Anybody wrap their rabbit ears in tinfoil?
Tinfoil, make them a little longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Heidi says she remembers when they only had black and white TV. Yeah, I think I was, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old when we got our first color TV. Like, I remember the black and white one before, and I remember Dad bringing home one of those cabinet TVs, and man, we were styling in our single white trailer.
Like sitting on the ground.
Yeah, it was like a cabinet TV. You know, like it had wood trim around it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Packrat says BR549 was the phone number of Junior Samples used car place in the Hee Haw skit. Later, that became the name of a country band. Okay. I didn't know that. How about Captain Kangaroo?
Captain Kangaroo. Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of good shows. I remember, what about like Fantasy Island and The Love Boat and what was the Greatest American Hero?
Those were like all way
80s.
later.
Those were 80s, yeah. We used to sit around the house and watch them a lot. Old Zenith cabinet TV, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've all gotten spoiled. Bungles the Clown. Let me see here. I was married when my husband brought home our first color TV, and I was mad that he spent the money on something so silly. Yeah, midnight. Oh, yeah. Chris White says, remember the midnight national anthem, and then the TV went out.
Oh, yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah, Faith said she loved Captain Kangaroo. There was an untrue rumor that Mr. Green Jeans is Ted Nugent's dad. You know, Ted Nugent does a lot of sponsor stuff through EMP Show. I could ask him. The plane. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Love American Style. Not rabbit ears. We are in the boonies. It was a huge thing strapped to the house with big enough slack to turn it. Later, we actually had a motor with a cool turn dial. Oh, cool. What about Romper Room? The plane. Yep. Yeah, Richard says black and white TV and you only had 3 channels.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy Griffith and Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Laugh In. Those are all great stuff. Pretty sure these pictures and a write-up of converting my cart to solar on freesteading. All right, cool. Yeah, if I find one, I will definitely go down that road. Oh, Starla says that they were Mennonite, no TV, but I learned how to sew, make cheese, grow garden, and feed chickens. Even now, don't really watch TV. I watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we pretty much watch YouTube or like Little House on the Prairie or old shows or documentaries. I'm a big documentary fan. I remember The Greatest American Hero, The Fall Guy, The $6 Million Man, Space 1999. Yep, Baba Black Sheep. Oh my goodness, there's so many of these that I have not thought of in so long. I remember having to use a red plastic punch card to watch HBO when it was first came out. I don't remember that.
I don't either. Plastic.
Yeah. Coldest X says, oh my God, I loved Gilligan's Island. Tag, still 21 and holding. Yep. Yeah. I remember when 21 Jump Street came out.
Yeah.
Black Sheep Squadron. Momo Rock says, love Nugent and Kid Rock. I don't know Kid Rock, but I have a contract with Nugent. If you watch him, you know that he pumps EMP Shield. And so I could ask him that question. Terminator, good night to you. Favorite episode of Gilligan's Island was when they found a box of radioactive vegetable seeds.
Do you remember that one?
I don't. You know what, though? Gilligan's Island would be a good one to put on our series to watch.
Yeah. I wonder if it's still out there.
Because it was wholesome, you know. Hogan's Heroes, yeah. I think I met Ted back in the 90s in the damn Yankee years in Louisiana. Yeah, we had that too. Okay. Do you remember kids say the darndest things? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this conversation is why we can't attract the 20-year-olds. Right. Faith. Thank you, Faith.
Yes. Yes. They're like
Oh,
black
my-
and white TVs. Whoa, what does that mean?
Lucy Bonanza. Dactari. I've never heard of that one. How about MASH? MASH was on for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember Archie Campbell doing the mixed up Rindercella story where she goes to the Bancy Fall and she slopped her dripper? He could mix up the words so quickly. Had them in stitches. Yeah, I don't remember that. Green Acres, Petticoat Junction. Oh my God. I think I might still have the MASH series. Oh my goodness, we're screwed.
Wow.
We're never attracting young people. We're done. All the guys in the neighborhood got together on Friday night to watch Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yep. Let me see here. In the older days, we used a mirror with silver backing and rabbit ears touching it to watch everything. All in the Family with Archie Bunker. Could you imagine if Archie Bunker was still on TV? Or the Jeffersons? That was another example.
Yeah.
They would be so accused
that
of.
was on the other day.
Yeah.
That lady that sings.
Man,
Isn't that All in the Family?
Yeah. It would never fly today. Never.
They say some things that, yeah.
Yeah. It's still on B. All right. I'm going to get caught up here. I'm going to skip a bunch here. Let me see where we at here. Archie Bunker was my father's favorite, says Steel Ross. Red Skelton. Jonathan already clocked out. Y'all speaking Greek to me with all these names and terms. Yeah, you might be the youngest person in this room, Jonathan.
I bet Jonathan is the youngest person.
You know, maybe. All right. Sanford and Sons. Yep, a lot of good ones. Dukes of Hazzard. That's a good one. All right, I'm gonna see if I got anything else. And then
I
we'll
do
get out of
remember
here.
that one.
Let's talk about the Midwest Preparedness Project real quick.
Oh, hey, yeah.
So,
That's in 3 weeks?
yeah, 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
3 weeks.
2.5, yeah.
This is the first week.
Yeah.
This is the 7th. So
there's some, we got some great speakers coming in this year. I'm super excited about it. I'm excited that I don't play any role other than chilling.
hanging out, eating,
Yep. Looking forward to seeing everybody.
drinking some milk.
Yeah, any of you guys that are coming, if you guys need anything, tents or sleeping bags or anything, just hit me up. I have tons of stuff. I'm still not sure if I'm going to sleep out there or not. I'll be out there every day, but I live 30 minutes from there and we have animals, so it makes it complicated. I may stay out there one night in a hammock or something and B drives home. We'll just see how it works out, but I'm excited to see all of you guys. Oh, look at that. Rickster says WKRP in Cincinnati. Green Acres is the place to be, Lassie. Yep. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I hope many of you guys can make it out there. It's a,
Yes.
it's a cool community event.
Yes, we'd love to see you.
Yep.
Put a face to a name.
Yep. I don't have another scheduled speaking event until July, at least right now. So the cool news is I should pretty much be around, and we're going to try to get a whole bunch of stuff done. Right. Pod 4, I've got 4 pieces of drywall to put up. I've kind of been slacking on it. I need to get that done.
Yeah. Planting.
You got to get in the garden.
Planting, taxes.
Yeah, you're about done with those though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do our taxes early because we never get a refund. So it's like a fight, right?
Well, and we got farm, we got business, we got personal, we got other business. It's not just as simple as, here's my W-2.
Well, if you started before April 1st, it might help.
It's still, come on now. It's still, we have a lot of different entities that we do. So.
All right. Well, I got nothing else. Let's get out of here. What you talk about your parting words? What do you got to say to everybody?
I was gonna say just take it easy on one another, you know.
Yeah, I think that we should hold ourselves to the standards we hold other people to.
Ooh,
You know, and it's unfair
that's
to hold.
hard.
Well, but it's unfair to hold somebody to a standard you're not willing to hold yourself to. And whether you're talking about prepping, Christianity, and anarchy, whether you're talking, no matter what you're talking about, black, white, Democrat, Republican, whatever. I mean, there's more things that unite us than divide us, and they want us divided because divided we're weak.
Yeah.
We've got to find a way to step out above all of that. And to all you guys out there, if you're a Muslim, I welcome you, and if you're a Buddhist or a Hindu, I welcome you. If you're a Christian, I welcome you. If whatever it is, black, white, I don't care, rich or poor, Republican or Democrat, I welcome you. And I think if we spend a little more time in our life, being accepting and looking for the positive, because you're going to find it, instead of looking for the negative, because again, you'll also find it. And, let's not be hypocritical.
Yeah. Bring up the willing.
Yeah. Bring up the willing. That's a great way. That'd be a good shirt too. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I wanted to tell you guys, I appreciate that you guys listen to me rant, because I thought about these topics all day today. Just absolutely all day today. And it just had me in my head going, what are we doing? But
yeah.
I thought I asked Garen from Grumpy Acres if he'd like to do a what makes a strong woman from a guy's perspective, because I think that would be way more useful to a girl.
What a guy thinks a strong woman would be.
Yeah, because I think girls would like to know that. And I would like to know from a girl's perspective what you guys see as a strong man, because it's probably not what we think. Our strong man, I can lift a lot.
Yeah, nowadays you're not supposed to be no strong man.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
They want to knock that strong right out of y'all.
Yeah. So anyway, again, guys, let's be good to each other, and let's find ways to build community, not tear it down. If somebody doesn't agree with the way you look at it, or somebody don't agree with the way you say something, or your opinion, it's fine. It doesn't mean you have to, dwell on it or attack them or any of those kind of things. Let's just be good, and let's find ways to, again, create that bond and to continue to build community, and let's not tear it apart. They do enough of that for us already.
No, we're supposed to be here to help.
Yeah, we got to be better than that. And I promise you guys, if you hold yourself to a higher standard, I will hold myself to a higher standard, and that'll be that, right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Try to live freer today than you did yesterday.
Hold on.
Don't give an inch.
All right, guys. See you guys. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.